Welcome, my excellent friends, to another episode of the Fake Nerd Podcast. This is episode 206. I'm Brandon T. McClure. With me, as always, are some bodacious dudes, such as Ben Magnet.
This is going to be a most excellent episode, if I do say so myself.
Sparkles. What's your name today? What's your name today?
That was bogus.
That totally was bogus.
Sparks Witty. And
it's a podcast. You got to acknowledge the podcast.
I did. I said that was bogus. That was my...
All right.
He blundled my intro. I blundled back.
and Ryan Eliopoulos.
You sunk my battleship.
Before we get any further into the episode, though, I want to mention we've been talking about it all week. We are not actually going to review New Mutants.
Hell yeah, no, we're not.
We have decided as a show to boycott the movie. We'll catch it on HBO Max whenever it's dropped.
Yeah, when I don't have to.
When we don't have to give it money.
Yeah, as much money as before. Yeah. Look into that movie if you want to. I don't need to see it. That's bad X-Men representation. I don't need to see it. I'm cool. Thanks, dog.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of things came out this week that made us go like, not sure we feel comfortable with this.
Like,
do we really want to do this?
2 days before the movie came out, that's when that interview dropped. Like,
I mean, it's
crazy. Just like the build up, and then just
we knew about the whitewashing,
yes,
and we talked about it a while back.
Yeah.
But then that was kind of the only thing we heard bad coming out of it, and it's crazy that it's taken all these years of it being delayed, and we still didn't hear about some of the shit going on until this week.
Right. It's a shame. It's a shame. It's got to wipe the slate clean for that. Because
I wouldn't have been excited for so long.
Yeah,
but it's fine.
Yeah,
so, I got that comic book. I'm good.
So that is our stance. We are not going to review New Mutants. However, we are going to still go forward with reviewing Bill and Ted Face the Music, as you can see by the title of this episode,
which was always going to be this episode's topic anyway.
Yeah,
right. Yeah. The other thing is, I've added some things to the description below. I put a bunch of links down there. I'm going to start in the description putting things that we have put out on YouTube throughout the week. So, for example, we have our Lovecraft Country episode 2, season 1 finale. No, episode 2. Fake Nerds Watch. We have Umbrella Academy, season 2, Fake Nerds Watch, and
yeah, sweet man, that computer's great.
and the 4 quarantine reviews. Hey, there's a review of New Mutants. Our 4 quarantine reviews.
Almost guaranteed at this point that's a better look at that movie than the real one.
So Sparks was able to put all those up this week as their own videos. So you can check those out in the description below. So that's just some of the things I wanted to touch on before we kind of got started.
Just to clarify what Brandon's talking about, these are our reviews of A Quiet Place Part 2, Mulan, New Mutants, and No Time to Die that we did when the lock-in started.
I forgot. James
and they
Bond.
are improvised fake reviews of those movies because the whole thing that motivated this is I had a friend contact me and ask how we saw New Mutants early and reviewed it and what we thought. And I revealed that, no, that's not the case. You got to actually, they didn't want to listen to it because they were afraid of spoilers. I'm like, oh, no.
It's a goof.
It's not real.
Yeah. We all 4 of us just went ahead and just improv'd our butts off for those reviews.
I will say.
They are real reviews of a movie we have not seen.
I will say, none of us mentioned that Lockheed. What's the dragon's name? Purple Dragon in
Lockheed. Yeah.
Lockheed. Nobody mentioned that Lockheed was in the movies.
Yeah, that was a spoiler, Ben, that I was talking about last week. That Lockheed's in the movie, the dragon, which is cool. I'll find out when I see that in 6 months, I guess.
Yeah,
that's a damn shame.
All right, so who wants to go first with their week? I got quite a bit this week, so I don't want to start us off with too much.
What if you go first, Brandon? What if we flip the script, turn topsy-turvy turbo tables?
All right, topsy-turvy table, right? Did I do it right?
You actually did. I'm very impressed.
Cool. Okay, so real quickly, the big thing I did this week that's taken me so long, you guys. Ages ago, I was in high school. Netflix didn't have a streaming service yet. Remember this? Remember that?
I got the
I
Just
remember.
DVD
I remember
service.
the
I
old age of
decided
Netflix.
that I was going to watch Star Trek Enterprise from beginning to end on Netflix. What that meant at that time was that you got every DVD a week at a time from the DVD sets. So I did it. I watched all 4 seasons of that show off of Netflix.
That's what I did with Smallville. I got like 2 DVDs at a time. It took me like 9 years.
Yeah. That took me a couple of years. But what that led to was a realization that I had not seen every episode of Star Trek. What had happened was I had these DVD sets that had select episodes, select Klingon, Borg, Q, Captain's thing. They're just select episodes that I had gotten from the Star Trek experience in Las Vegas. And I watched the shit out of those. I watched Star Trek: The Next Generation on Spike TV when they were airing reruns of that. So I watched most episodes of Star Trek a lot, but I hadn't seen every episode of Star Trek. So I decided to go back, and I started with the original series. I watched every episode of the original series, but I kept taking years off because I got tired of it. The 3rd season of the original series is real bad. And then I would watch Next Gen, then Deep Space Nine, and now we're up to my adult life. I finally finished Deep Space Nine, and then this week I finished Star Trek Voyager, which is the end of that journey that I started in high school.
It's been a long road.
Getting from there to here.
It's been a long time.
Hey, Titus.
But my time is finally here.
I'm proud of you, Brandon. Hi, nice of you to join us, Titus. Brandon has completed all of Star Trek. Hell yeah.
It's been a long road. It has been a long time coming, but I've finally done it, and I'm feeling super nostalgic for it because, it's got more than 10 years I've been doing this.
Mm-hmm.
And I finally finished it, and I really liked shows more than I thought it would. Like Deep Space Nine is incredible. It ages like fine wine. Star Trek Voyager, I liked a hell of a lot more than people said I would. I really quite enjoyed Star Trek Voyager, and I was just really happy to finally do it. And my girlfriend joined me at the tail end of the journey, so I was able to do it with her as well.
So Brandon, apparently you have made a new friend because Titus also is a huge fan of Star Trek.
Yeah, sweet.
Live long and prosper.
And I'm also caught up on all the new Star Trek shows, so I have actually seen every episode of Star Trek, which
Hell
is
yeah, dude. You
really
can officially, you can call yourself a Trekkie.
You are finally there.
DPM Gaming TM says, "What's up, nerds?
Star Trek is what's up.
Excuse me.
Then I'll just go down. I finished Blockbuster Podcast. I talked about it a couple weeks ago. This season was about James Cameron, starring Ralph Marquand. Ross Marquand from The Walking Dead. He replaced Hugo Weaving as the Red Hood in Endgame.
Who? Want to try again?
Hugo Weaving is
the Red Hood. Red Hood is my favorite Captain
Red
America.
Skull. K Titus, the original is not the best. I'm afraid it is Deep Space Nine. So sorry.
Sorry, guys, I didn't say
it is my favorite.
Love that Star Trek and what the show represents, the struggle towards unity of all DPM gaming team. Yes, me too. Right. So, anyway, Blockbuster Pod, great season. I think it was better than the first. They were able to focus on one person, on James Cameron, his life, his struggles with his family, his kind of determination. Really paints James Cameron in a light that he is a huge dick, but also kind of endearing. And it goes from the moment he watches Star Wars for the first time to his Oscar win for Titanic is the series. And talking about Titanic, they really get into what he went through to get Titanic right, the struggles that he had to do with the studios. He gave up his director fee and his stake in the movie to make it the movie he needed it to be. So then I watched Titanic because I felt like I need to see this movie. I don't know why. I haven't seen this movie in a long time, so I decided to watch it again for the first time in God knows how long. And I will die on the hill that is James Cameron's masterpiece.
No, I'll die on that hill with you. I think Titanic is one of his best movies that he's ever made. I mean, as much as I love Terminator 2, but Titanic is like it's.
It was
Titanic.
the combination. It was the combination of listening to Blockbuster podcast. Oh, downright nerdy! Wow, we're busy. We're busy tonight.
We
downright
are.
nerdy.
Friends.
Yeah, it was the combination of listening to Blockbuster podcast and hearing the struggle of James Cameron, and watching Lindsay Ellis's video where she basically is like, "Hey, this movie's good. It gets a bad rap. I don't understand why."
Yeah.
It was just kind of solidified the whole thing. Like, yeah, I think with everything that went into it, I don't know if it's his best movie, but also James Cameron doesn't make bad movies.
It's true.
But I do think it is. Yeah, Mag says Aliens, though. Look, Aliens is a great movie. Again, like I said, James Cameron doesn't make bad movies. I think Titanic is a masterpiece, though.
Titanic is a masterpiece. Sorry, I was laughing at downright nerdy.
Ryan Riley just watched the trailer for Gods of Egypt when she said she thought it looked good. Might be a deal breaker.
Yeah. Hey, I also thought the trailer sold me enough, but hey, trailers lie a lot, so
They do.
I listened to the first episode of the not Spielberg, what's his name? Star Wars man, George Lucas. Yeah, I listened to the first episode, and it's 30-minute actual drama episodes. It's hey, it's me, I'm George Lucas. Wow, Steven, I like you. All that's really charming. So that's a good podcast. I recommend it.
Yes. Yeah. So then I watched Titanic and did that. I also watched Always Be My Maybe finally, which is the
Randall Park.
Ali Wong, Randall Park, Keanu Reeves movie.
Yeah, I saw that a while back. It's a good one.
Yeah. Let's see. DPM Gaming. This Star Trek thing is getting blown up on our comment section. DPM Gaming says, I like DS9 because it gives more of a reality of everyday life, similar to real life. We can relate all the aspects of Starfleet. Yeah. It also has Cisco. Yeah, TNG's great. It also has Cisco DS9's basically being like, Earth doesn't care about your plight because it's a paradise and nobody gives a shit. I was like, oh, shit, okay.
That's real stuff.
Yeah. Anyway, so Always Be My Maybe, super charming. Really liked it. Keanu Reeves is great in it.
There were a lot of people when Bill and Ted 3 was coming up that were saying, can Keanu Reeves even do comedy anymore? And I'm like, just watch Always Be My Maybe.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, of course he can.
Yeah.
No, I remember watching that I think the first week it came out with Fanny, and we were listening to the song that Randall Park sings at the end credits where he punches Keanu Reeves in the face.
Yeah.
That was on the repeat in our car for a week and a half plus.
You best believe I punched Keanu Reeves. Yeah. And then I've watched both seasons of the TV show Trinkets, which stars Negasonic Teenage Warhead.
I've never heard of this show.
Yeah, it's a Netflix show. It's only got 2 seasons. It was unfortunately canceled. Super charming, great cast. Really sad it's canceled.
It also stars Sunspot.
Ooh.
In a very punchable role.
That's fitting, I guess. With other news of the week, somebody on Twitter that I follow was like, man, hey, if you get a show on Netflix, don't write past 2 seasons because chances are you're not going to get a 3rd season.
Yeah.
And it's so true. It's crazy. If you look at how many shows only get 2 and go, it's crazy.
Trinkets ends at the 2nd season. I just want to see, and so I was happy about that. It has a good conclusive ending. Cool. But I like the cast so much. I wanted to see them back. It's just a shame that we're not going to see them back. I forget her name, but Negasonic Teenage Warhead from Deadpool. She's really great in it. Cool. And I found it to be really charming. Downright Nerdy says, I'm on season 4 of The Last Kingdom on Netflix. Freaking love it. Highly recommend it.
Is that the show you were watching, Ben?
No, I was watching Nightfall. I think The Last Kingdom is that it's the South Korean one where it's ancient or medieval Korea, but they're zombies.
Zombies? This on season 4 already? Holy crap.
Yeah, very, very excited for season 2 of The Boys, DPM Gaming.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my gosh. You have no idea.
Okay. And then I read some comics. I read Deceased, Unkillables, which is the new Deceased volume. It finally came out in hardcover.
How was that? Because I was waiting for a trade.
Great.
No,
just as good.
The Last Kingdom is not the zombie South Korean one you're thinking of.
Okay.
Okay. I think that's just called Kingdom. Because I'll say that's not.
Yeah, I was going to say, just saw a trailer for that a while ago. I'm pretty sure that's not.
Okay.
Gotcha. Yeah, it might just be a Kingdom.
Yeah, so Deceased, Unkillables. I have the hardcover. It looks just like the Volume 1 hardcover. Gorgeous book. I love the art. Heartbreaking. Tom Taylor. It's heartbreaking.
Is it it take place between 1 and 2?
The first issue takes place during the entire volume of volume 1.
Okay.
And then the next 2 issues are after.
Interesting. Okay.
So it's about what happens on Earth, because this is Red Hood and Vandal Savage and Creeper and Solomon Grundy and Cheetah, Cassandra Cain, Lady Shiva. Jim Gordon. They've all stayed on Earth. So they've stayed behind to look after these kids.
That's a mistake.
So I really liked it. Tom Taylor needs to get a Justice League book. I said it. That dude needs to write the main Justice League book.
The world is on your side.
Didn't we all say it?
Yeah, the world's on your side.
I think we did.
And then I also finally finished Green Lantern Earth 1, Volume 2. Once again, the artwork is gorgeous, and that book is really great. I really like the reinvention of the Green Lantern mythos present in that Earth 1 line. Obviously, I caught up on all the X-Men books. They're great.
Yes.
And then, because of some distressing news that happened this week, I decided to watch Get On Up, which is the Chadwick Boseman film about oh my god, James Brown. Just watched this movie, James Brown. It has 80% on Rotten Tomatoes. I don't understand how. It's honestly not that good. But he's really great in it. It does have the same kind of problems that you see with a lot of biopics, that they're trying to do like the whole life. But what this one does worse is that it does it in an non-linear fashion. So it's just, you don't get any resolution to scenes because you're expecting that it's going to happen towards the end of the movie, or it already happened in the beginning of the movie, and you're just like confused whenever they switch the scenes. But he's great. Chadwick Boseman is great in it. So, and that's all I got.
All right. I'll go next. I didn't do a whole lot myself this week. Really, the only stuff I really did was in the later half of the week. So Fan and I are continuing with Legend of Korra. We are now officially on season 3, and I think I'm like one of the most positive on Legend of Korra in that show, because I know Sparks hasn't watched all of it yet. Ryan, have you watched it all?
No, I've never seen Korra.
Oh, you never seen Korra?
No, Ben.
Oh, God damn.
Ben, it's Ryan. Ryan prefers it to Last Airbender, correct?
Okay. I just like it. I like the world of it more than the first one. I don't think it's a better show, but I just like it more.
Okay, yeah, because I know, Brandon, you kind of have you don't hate it. You're kind of on Legend of Korra.
No, not even that. I like Legend of Korra. I prefer Last Airbender a lot, though.
Okay, yeah, because I still prefer Last Airbender, but I was listening to Team 4 Stars because they have a podcast as well. I was listening to them talk about it this week, and even when I was watching season 2 with Fanny, now not to spoil anything, but there are parts of it that were in season 2. I was like, this isn't that good.
Like season 2 is worse.
Yeah, season 2 is.
Yeah, that's why I wasn't eager to continue with the show at the time.
It gets like I never thought it got like bad, but like the quality definitely drops. I'm not gonna disagree, but man, I think season 3 more.
Yeah, like there was a part in season 2 where Fan and I were talking, kind of like riff tracksing it essentially about Korra and her and everything. And then, you okay?
Are you okay, Brandon?
I dropped all my Skittles.
Oh, taste the rainbow!
Oh no!
Skittle emergency! I'll be right back.
Okay.
All right.
So while Brandon's picking up his Skittles, but yeah, because this is the second time I've seen Korra since I first watched it when it first came out. Like Avatar, I've watched multiple times ever since it first aired. Whereas Korra, I only saw it the once and then hadn't seen it again. So getting refreshed with it is good, but at the same time, I'm starting to notice like the nostalgia goggles are gone essentially. Because when it first came out, I'm like, hell yeah, sequel to Avatar, this is awesome. It can do no wrong. And now I'm like, oh nope, yeah, it definitely can do some wrong.
Oh yeah, it does wrong.
It definitely can. But season 3. I want to say we're almost halfway through season 3 right now, and it's still great. I absolutely adore it. Like all the problems I have it's like one of those things where when you're watching a show, it's like, yeah, there's that one season that's not the best, but once you get past it, the quality just jumps right up. So we're watching Korra. I finally put up. Oh yeah,
season 3 is my favorite season because you're at Zahir. Zahir's dope ass group.
Careful. Spoilers.
No, the bad guy's name's Zahir. That's all. That's Henry Rollins. Yeah. That's Henry Rollins and his whole team of like badass benders. That's the reason I love that season. That he is the coolest dude. He's so cool.
No, Zahir, season 3 is also my favorite season because I think my if I had to rank the seasons, it'd go 3, 4, 1, and 2.
Yeah, that's
but
right.
4 and 1 like go back and forth every now and then. So I could like 4 and 1, I could switch, but 2 is dead last the whole time. So yeah, so we're at Zahir. Zahir's awesome. All the other stuff is awesome, and I'm still enjoying the show. I also finished my article on High Score. You can read that on oldschoolgamermagazine.com right now. I'm going to assume Brandon has a link in the description below.
Link in the description.
Yeah.
Yes, he did. Yeah. So I was actually I started rewatching it because the first time I was watching it, I had my phone with me so I could like write down notes as soon as I got something to write about. So now I'm rewatching the show in just pure enjoyment. I'm like, man, I mean, there are some big omissions in the show, like I mentioned last time, but still, it's just fun. I just like learning stuff about video games.
Oh, I think he muted himself. There you go. Good job.
Yeah.
I would say the 5-second rule, but it's been like 2 minutes.
You made downright nerdy want Skittles right now.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'll share.
Yeah.
They'll ship them to you. Just sanitize them first.
Yeah. So besides getting my stuff written, I also started playing Fall Guys. I actually started playing that on a Friday or Saturday morning when I came home from work for the very first time. We played a little bit of it last night. That game actually is pretty fun. I really enjoy it. Highly recommend it. I'm glad I got it for free on PlayStation Network, and I want to keep get better at it because I made it to the final round like 2 times, and I'm really bummed I didn't get that damn crown.
Yep,
gotta grab it.
Brandon won Fall Guys, the first one in our game.
I did.
Yeah,
that game.
I got super lucky.
Yeah,
you did.
Yeah,
not gonna lie to you. Yeah, you did.
And also, Saturday was the first time I did something that I've never done before. I figured, screw it. My PS4 has the capabilities. Why not try it? I streamed on Twitch for the first time this week.
There you go, buddy.
There you go.
I streamed Fall Guys. So it's like, cool. That was fun. Plan to do it again next weekend. So, woohoo. And I also finally started reading my comics again. I had a huge stack. If you looked on my Instagram, I have a huge backlog of X-Men books I need to read through, which I'm happy about. I have a lot of X-Men stuff to read. I'm on Wolverine right now, but the books I read earlier today that I really enjoyed, I can't wait for the next issue, are Star Wars and Darth Vader.
Okay.
Because those, I feel like those.
I'm officially out Star Wars comics. Sorry. I'm officially out Star Wars comics. Not that they're bad, just I read too many comics, and there's a whole line where I'm like, I'll get to them. They're not going anywhere. I know they sell well, right? Yeah. They're not going to cancel Star Wars.
They don't need you.
They don't need me. Just like Batman, it doesn't need me. It'll be fine. So go ahead.
Yeah. But I'm loving the Star Wars run. Star Wars, the mainline titles written by Charles Soule. Luke is getting into some cool stuff I'm really into. Greg Pak is currently writing the Darth Vader book right now. The 4th issue that just came out this week is really rad. And I got to issues. I finished issues 1 and 2 of Wolverine. Man, that book is good. What's up?
Darth Vader was 2 weeks ago.
Oh, 2 weeks ago? Oh, yeah, it was 2 weeks ago. I picked up my books this week. That's right.
I got you.
It's catching up. Yeah.
But I got up to Wolverine issue 3, so that's the one I need to pick back up. But issues 1 and 2, since they're a little older, man, those issues are rad as hell. And I freaking loved issue 1, and I really wanted to find out more about the Vampire Nation. I really love the Vampire Nation.
Issue 4.
Oh, really? Oh, you mean this issue that's right here?
Yeah, it's there.
And as I said, I am caught up on all the X-Men books. The Wolverine issue 4 is really good.
That final page is like you can put that up as like a piece of art. It's so pretty. It's so also scary.
No, and once again, I'm like Ryan said, X gonna give it to you. I'm also for it because every single X-Men book I've picked up since House of X, Dawn of X. Of course, Brandon was super kind enough to get us those pins. Thank you again, Brandon.
I'm to my body.
I am so excited. Every time I go pick up my books, I see a whole bunch of X-Men books. I'm like, hell yeah. This is some good stuff. This is the good stuff. Even when I'm at Frankensons or I'm talking to my friends and they're like, hey, Ben, what good comics are out right now? I'll tell them, just X-Men. Go into a side comic book store, get any and every new X-Men book that you can get because that you will not be disappointed.
there's 3 new copies of Hawkspox at our shop. That's on the wall. I'm like, ooh, those are gonna sell fast, I bet.
So yeah, I got a decent sized stack, and also I picked up 3 Jokers, which our store was really kind because I went in there with my girlfriend and I got my I got the Red Hood variant, and also my store they were giving away those playing cards.
Did we all get the Red Hood variant?
I
You
know
got the Red Hood variant, right?
Yeah,
I got the Red Hood variant.
Brandon.
Yeah, I got the Red Hood variant too.
What?
No, I'm saying that's what I'm saying. We all got the same variant.
No, I got the
Oh
regular.
wow, that's funny.
Regular.
You broke the chain, Brandon.
Here's my process. If there are too many variants that I can't decide, I just get the regular.
Oh, I like the one that I thought looked coolest.
That's reasonable.
I just got the Red Hood because I was like, yeah, really, because when I was looking, I was like, yeah, Red Hood looks cool. Yoink. But yeah, the guy at the store.
These 4 kids came into the comic shop the day I went to go to the store. I didn't go with him, but they were looking at the four Jokers. They're looking at 3 Jokers, and then they had variants for the 3 Jokers, right? And the variants were $25. And these kids didn't know like the prices or anything, so they were all about to buy this $25 variant, all 4 of them. And I was like, guys, do not spend $25 on this comic. It's right over there. They just missed where the comic was, and they're like, oh my god, thank you so much. They're about to spend $100 on a comic. And I'm like, oh my god!
And somewhere the guy who works at the comic store was
fuck
like,
you,
Ryan.
No, man. Being young and poor, they were like, well, they all had like, oh, well, if I buy this, I only have this much left, and I'm like, guys, the cheap one's right there. Buy more comics. Like I felt like a hero. I felt like a capitalist hero.
Well, you're partially. Yeah, he like pops up. He's like, damn it! But then, yeah. And actually, it's funny because I asked him because apparently Sparks told me that Mega Man Fully Charged came out this week, and when I went to the store, they sold out, but they only had the $20 and the $25 and the $18 variants, and I'm like, that's a little rich for my blood. Sorry, dude.
It's a little rich.
90 went to the says went to my LCS for the first time in a couple months today. 95% of my haul are indies. 95% of my haul is X-Men. So
that's because you're better than me.
Better than us. I read a lot of independent comics. It's just right now, a lot of the books that I read are like on hiatus, and then all the X-Men titles are coming out 9 times a month. So Yeah.
But the reason why I mentioned that
I'm very happy. But real quick, Ben, sorry. To Downright Nerdy's thing, I'm very happy with my poll is. I look forward to every book on that poll.
Yeah.
But the reason why I'm shouting out our local comic book store is because when I went, the guy was really cool, and he not only gave me 1 card, but 2. So Fan can have one as well.
Nice.
I
thought that was nice.
Yeah, it's just a little Joker Batman playing card.
Just an Ace of Spade. But yeah, I thought, and also I just really dig this cover right here with the 3 Jokers.
Faybox is a hell of an artist.
Yeah.
Yep.
That is
at the moment,
I think the art is the best part of that book. Not to make that as
100% of it.
Yeah. Did you read it, Ben?
3 Jokers?
Yeah.
Not yet. It's on the bottom of my poll. I'm gonna get through all my X-Men first, and then get to 3 Jokers.
Okay.
Not just like spoiler alert. I liked it, but
I'm not shocked. No offense, Brandon.
No, that's why I said spoiler alert. The artwork is incredible. Jason Faybox is amazing.
Yeah, like when you think of like an encapsulation of what Batman is, like this is it. Like this is like it takes place during any time period, and this is like a good looking Batman. It also helps that it looks like the '89 Batman. I love it.
Yeah. Okay.
Damn it, does. No, that's pretty much it. I've read some of my books today. Finally, I'm planning to get that stack done before I have to go to the store next this upcoming Wednesday. Played some Fall Guys, and I got my article written. So that's pretty much all I did.
Hell yeah.
Ryan Sparks, which one?
I'll go. So I read lots of comics. X-Men continued to be great. We talked about it when we played a video game, whenever that was, Brandon. But the Magneto issue of X-Men was hella cool.
Yeah.
It's just Magneto being a boss-ass bitch, just wrecking shop, being the coolest dude on the planet. Like, the children are just screaming his name because he's a hero. X-Men is so cool. I spent my entire week starting, playing, finishing all the story and DLC for the video game Batman: Arkham Knight. That game plays like a dream. That is so fun to play. If that is what the base is for Gotham Knights and Suicide Squad, like it's got a great base for the game, right? I played that game 5 years ago when it originally came out, and I thought it was pretty good. I thought the story was pretty good. I was way less. I didn't notice so many things as I do now, and I wasn't as.
You were less woke.
I was less. Woke.
You were sleepier.
I was super sleepy, guys. I was the sleepiest white boy 5 years ago, right? Luckily, I'm not. But I gotta talk about Arkham Knight because it is one of the most problematic games in terms of female representation I've ever seen in a video game. First of all, you guys remember who wrote Arkham Asylum?
No.
It's Paul Dini. Paul Dini was the sole writer of the video game Arkham Asylum. That's why that game is
Arkham City.
He was the co-writer of Arkham City.
Oh,
that's where the problems start coming in. Because the guy who runs the studio of Rocksteady was the co-writer of Arkham City. Then he became the lead writer for Arkham Knight. And two other guys who work at Rocksteady were the writers for Arkham Knight. Paul Dini was not involved at all.
Right.
So how do we start this? Let's say. So the first time you meet Poison Ivy, she's locked up in jail. Okay. Harley Quinn saves her, only for her to be locked up in jail again by the Scarecrow. The next time you meet Poison Ivy, you rescue her from Scarecrow, only for Batman to put her in jail. That's what she does the entire game until you rescue her and she dies. Cool story. Harley Quinn, the first time you meet Harley Quinn in the regular game, she shows up and she's like, hey, Bats, you killed Joker and I hate your guts and blah, blah, blah. You punch out Harley Quinn and she's knocked out on the floor while you fight all of her regular goons and you don't have a boss fight. That's where Harley Quinn's represented in that game. Great, cool. Batgirl. Batgirl is Oracle. Oracle is the tech person of the group, right? She's the person in the ear of Batman. She's kidnapped at the beginning of the game. She's killed at the beginning of the game, but it's not really her. She's kidnapped, still kidnapped at the end of the game. But it's Alfred. It's Alfred who is your tech guy the entire game. It's Alfred who's helping you with the drones and helping you with the computer stuff and helping you with the Arkham Knight stuff. You have a tech person. You just decided she's a woman and you wanted to kidnap her because that's way more fun. That's kind of shitty.
She becomes the primary tech person towards the end of the game.
She's locked up the entire game until the end because Scarecrow has her because it was.
There is a good chunk of the game. I mean, I played it recently, like a month or two ago.
The game to activate Nightfall mode for her to come back at the after the game's over.
No, I'm talking about like right after she's rescued, which is right after you find out that Jason Todd is the Arkham Knight, which is still like 30 minutes before the game ends.
Yes,
that's when she becomes the main tech. Right, that's when she becomes the main tech person.
Yeah, cool. The last 30 minutes of a 30-hour game. That's fantastic. So
I'm not making excuses. I'm just saying.
Oh no, I know, but like it's really crappy. Even like the regular characters. Again, it's the writing. It's awful. It's awful. Batman. All of Batman's writing is I have to do this. I have to go over here. Barbara, I have to do this. Kevin Conroy is giving it his best, but these guys are the best writing is all the militia dialogue when you're zooming through the city. Because it's just like guys like, man, if Batman showed up right now, I would beat the crap out of Batman. He don't even know. And if you show up, he's like, oh, I was kidding, Batman. That's the funny stuff in the game. Everything involving all the girls is bad. It's awful. And Catwoman. Do you remember how you meet Catwoman when she's introduced in the game? She's kidnapped. She's kidnapped. Yeah. And she's like, oh, I could have got out on my own after you spent 30 hours getting me out. No, it doesn't. I don't think so, Selena. I find it gross. I think a lot of the boss battles are really bad. I think the drone stuff. I fought maybe 500 drones in that game. Are you telling me even I know Batman's not real, but if this were a comic book, would he fight 500 manless drones in a tank? That doesn't seem very Batman or fun. The set piece stuff's really good, but man, I now understand why people kind of just like don't think of Arkham Knight that much anymore because it's kind of bad. It's kind of very bad. And it makes me super excited for that Gotham Knights game because that's the Warner Brothers studio who made Arkham Origins, and that's secretly maybe the best Batman game.
That's true.
And I'm just like, man, I'm just so bummed out because like the further it went along, I was just like, this is bad. I don't think this is very good. But again, the gameplay, that's that separation, man. That gameplay is so good.
So, you also talked to me about how you found out about the Rocksteady allegations.
Thank you for bringing this up. Thank you so much. So yes, 2 years ago, there were allegations against Rocksteady of sexual abuse, of harassment, all that shit that's currently going on. 10 of the 16 women who worked at the studio signed that thing saying this was happening. 10 of the 16. Then it wasn't really much heard of again. And now knowing how maybe that studio is run, and now they pushed out the person who was the only good writer of the series, I now see how Arkham Knight turned out the way it is. And I'm just like, whew, it really bummed me out. It really bummed me out because I think that series starts so strong and it blew the video game world out of the water with Arkham Asylum, and it ends with just real bad writing, I think.
I would never think to defend the writer,
No, of course.
but it is, for me, as far as like how it handles Scarecrow and the fact that I don't actually mind the Batmobile stuff. It is probably as my second favorite.
Sure.
But Arkham Asylum's really good.
Yeah.
I really like how it handles Scarecrow. Again, not to make any excuses.
No, Scarecrow is cool. That's a cool villain. And I always love the thing about Batman villains where once you get up to them, Batman just punches them and they're done. Like, that's always the coolest part because they're just all regular people. Mm-hmm. And that's what happens with Scarecrow. Like, Gordon punches Scarecrow out. That's fun. Like, all that stuff is great. It's just everything surrounding it. It's just like they don't know what to do with women. They just don't know how to handle women. They're only damsels, or they're only meant to be rescued. It's just like it bums me out.
I would have liked to have seen what Paul Dini would have done with Arkham Knight.
Yeah, and I'm really curious if they didn't ask him back, or he just didn't want to come back. I'm really curious because I don't see why you do 2 and not come back for the trilogy. You know what I mean?
He makes a lot of setups in City, which is my favorite in the franchise.
Yeah, not my favorite. Yeah.
City sets up a lot of things for a sequel, such as with Azrael, and then Azrael is really nothing in Arkham Knight.
I mean, I like combat challenges. I love combat challenges. So it's just Azrael's thing is just like, we're just gonna fight as Azrael, but don't get hit. I'm like, okay, that's fine, whatever. A lot of the side stuff is fun, like the Professor Pig, like
I was about to bring it up.
like the murder mystery, like the detective stuff. All that stuff's really fun. I don't think Firefly needed 2 separate missions focusing on him, where you chase him. 3. What's the third one? There's the
it's in there are fire truck there are on fire buildings in all 3 sections. In all 3 sections.
But what's the third one? There's firemen, and then there's
I'm sorry. I thought because you have to do it 4 times.
Before I see. No, yeah.
You have to do it like 3 times before you beat Firefly.
2 separate missions about him. Yes. And I'm like, wow, Firefly. He's the guy you take space up for other villains. The reason I played Arkham Knight again is for the Seasons of Infamy, which is the DLC missions. Those are the best parts of the game. I'm surprised those aren't in the main game because it's Mr. Freeze, Killer Croc, it's League of Assassins stuff, which I won't spoil what that's about because that's the coolest stuff. And Mad Hatter. And all that stuff's really fun. It's a shame I had to play the game again.
Bye, Downright Nerdy.
Bye.
See ya. Bye, Michael.
The Killer Croc stuff in the Season of Infamy is my favorite.
Yeah, all that stuff is so fun, and I am glad I got to do that stuff again. And again, it's not all bad. Like, some of those missions, like hanging out with the squad, like hanging out with Nightwing and Tim, like that's all really fun. Mm-hmm. I still think the reveal of Red Hood. You can't introduce a character 3 games in, halfway through your game, and expect me to care about who he is. They had to have introduced Jason Todd in one of the previous games, saying that this happened before. Because when you introduce to him 15 hours into the game, this is the first time you're meeting the character. So why do I care that he's the bad guy? Only because I read comic books. That's the only reason. I know who the Red Hood is. Again, if Johnny Tsunami, if Casey Casual bought this game, he's like, I don't know who Jason Todd is. Like, oh, he was Robin. That stinks. Like that he got beat up. But like, I don't feel the emotional impact. But because we all read the comics, like we know who he is. Also, Troy Baker's he's fine. He's just an emotional guy. He didn't need to be Red Hood. That's my rant about Arkham Knight. I'm bummed out. I'm super excited for Gotham Knights.
I'm less excited for Suicide Squad.
That's still 2 years away. So like, that also has a different writer. So like, it potentially could be better.
Sure.
I inadvertently watched the Chadwick Boseman movie called Gods of Egypt, which is a 2016 movie about Egyptians who are all white boys. For the Downright Annoyed movie thing that we did not do this week because of scheduling. We are doing it tomorrow, Monday. Guys, I think Gods of Egypt is going to be the first movie I make a video essay on. I am so enraptured. It is such a movie. I really want you guys to watch it because it's next level crazy. If you guys watch my Instagram stuff, you just saw that Jeffrey Rush plays the sun god Ra, and he grows 10 times bigger and shoots things out. It's wild. Chadwick Boseman is in it. He's like the only black guy in the movie. And I like his interview about it because he even recognized the whitewashing of the movie. And he's like, I wanted to be in this movie so they can have an actual representation of Egyptian like culture. And like, I am playing the god of math and blah, blah, blah. And so like, I feel happy about my representation. It's a shame about the choices for the other stuff. And I'm like, you are a king, man. Thank you. He's not very good in it, unfortunately. But that's not his fault. I think that's just that whole movie sucks. But I'm really glad I watched it because I'm probably going to watch it like 10 more times making a video essay about it because not enough people talk about it online, and I don't know why, because it's a phenomenon. It's a phenomenon. It's a $200 million Marvel, Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter knockoff that's trying to set up its own franchise. That's just nope.
So Ryan's new video essay on Gods of Egypt coming soon.
Probably not soon, but like it is absolutely the movie where I'm like, I want to know every single thing about this movie, because how did this happen? Truly, this is like once in a lifetime, how did this happen kind of movies. It's like Dune, if you guys haven't seen Dune, but also it's like one of those like, how this is just a cavalcade of just baloney.
Like, we'll probably just be sitting there watching, going,
Cavalcade of Baloney is your video essay series name.
Cavalcade of Baloney.
Oh wow,
checkmarked. I love it. I believe I did some stuff with him, but I'll just talk about it when he talks about it. That's my week. I played so much Batman.
Sparks?
Yeah, I read X-Men like other people did. I also read Empire tie-ins. Empire's tie-ins are still good. They finished Avengers and Captain America.
Yeah, those were
the tie-ins for
like
those.
3 and 4 issues.
3 issues. 3 issues on the Avengers line and 3 issues on Captain America. And at the end, the people in it are both get the call like, Wakanda's in trouble. Empire 6. And,
we gotta go. We gotta go to Empire number 6.
Yeah, exactly. I also read Power Rangers. You guys also read Power Rangers.
Oh, we did.
There'll be a book club video up real soon. There was a lot of Fall Guys. There was a lot of Dead by Daylight. Brandon and I watched another episode of God of High School.
Yes.
Yeah. What'd you think?
I really like that show. The animation's incredible.
I really like that show. I really like that show.
Yeah.
The show just knows what it's doing with its animation and with its like the beyond the show, but like the character creation is, you get into it very quickly. Mm-hmm. This is not a slow burn show. Like, you are in the action from the get, and it doesn't really slow down. Yeah. At least not yet.
The animation, I'm watching the animation. I'm like, I want all anime to look like this.
Too expensive.
Yeah. It's true though. Like this is the quality like you want, especially from one that's like fighting anime.
Yeah.
You want fighting anime to look this good. I watch Impractical Jokers a lot. That's like my comedy go-to right now. Fill in. Thanks HBO Max for having something I can regularly count on.
You're welcome.
I read 3 Jokers. I did just kind of want to talk about it for a second, but I won't say much because Ben hasn't read it. But I will just say that like I like a specific part of it around a certain character, probably because that character hasn't been done very well up to this point. But I like a lot of the emotional beats behind that character. Brandon and I talked about this a lot while we were doing Fall Guys, and it feels like the whole thing is not going to have the weight it deserves. And for that to be the case, it kind of feels, in a sense, like it's pointless.
It's too late. That's what I said. It's too late.
It's also, man, I'm going to say something. Just try to read into it because I'm not going to spoil it for Ben. It seems like even the point of the name of the book is pointless inside this book itself. Like with what the premise is.
Sure.
Why is it even called 3 Jokers? I don't get that, because immediately that's also playing Arkham Knight. Boy, the similarities between that and this book are hilarious.
Yeah, I was thinking.
Holy shit, you guys. 2 specific plot points. One about Red Hood's in the book. So it's about Red Hood, and it's specifically about what Joker's doing. I doubt Jeff Johns played Arkham Knight, or if he did, he didn't incorporate the plot, but the plots are very similar about what Joker and Red Hood are doing. And I'm like, oh, wow. This doesn't even feel original. Oh, it's...
Ryan, I want to shoot your mind back to before Arkham Knight came out, when Jeff Johns did an interview saying that he worked closely with Rocksteady to create the Arkham Knight as a character.
Are you serious? Is that a joke?
Nope.
Oh no! No!
He did that.
The art's astounding.
The art is astounding.
Like
yes.
for real, I'm gonna keep buying this book because Jason Fabok is a god.
Yeah, like I mean, like at worst comes to worst, like you like owning the book because the art's so good, and it almost doesn't matter. There is good stuff in it, and I'm not even knocking like the whole story or anything. I just Brandon and I talk about the concept. Okay, so like there is a concept I think they are teasing, and the more I think about it, the more you mentioning Arkham Knight, and also thinking back to the Batman Who Laughs, that I think this actually is the case about how the Joker is created. And if that is the premise of the Joker, I don't know that I'm here for it. I don't know that I want that to be DC Universe canon. I don't know that's a good idea. I don't know that it enriches the character histories. It might even retroactively ruin it.
We'll have to wait to see.
Which is unfortunate because it feels in some ways like this book has to affect those histories because it is calling upon them so heavily.
Yeah.
Anyway, putting aside 3 Jokers, because we're not gonna do that right now. I started watching Smash, which is a 8 or 9 years old musical show that was on NBC
about Marilyn Monroe.
because Megan wants to, and it's good. I'm not knocking it. I'm enjoying watching it. It's not a bad show at all.
Is the guy who plays Ted Mosby on that show? I cannot remember his name for the life of me.
No, that's the other one.
Okay.
He is not on that show. The guy who played Norrington in Pirates of the Caribbean is.
Yeah, he is.
Smash is good. I am. I find myself just frustrated because one of the leads, they don't do anything to make you like her. But they want you to root for her. But everything they do with her makes her unlikable, and I'm like, is
she Stargirl?
No, but this is very hard. Anyway, it's a show. It's good. If you like musical stuff, it's good. Lovecraft Country. We watched the season finale that Brandon alluded to. It was super good. You can check us out talking about that at Fake Nerds Watch. Fantastic show.
And real quickly, it's not actually the season finale.
I had a feeling.
No, it is.
No.
Just felt like it.
Don't freaking say, Ben, Goebel's right on top of your ceiling again.
Ben,
Is Gogurt written on top of your ceiling?
I said gullible.
Now I'm gonna buy Gogurt and just tape it to
Yeah, it's gonna be gullible written in Gogurt.
Oh no.
Anyway. The other thing I did prominently was watch because school started for me, so I didn't have as much free time. Like I did a lot of reading, but it was reading for school. I watched the first 2 Bill and Ted's before I watched the third Bill and Ted.
I also was there for that.
Yeah, we watched Bill and Ted this week. Those are good.
If I may say, excellent.
Those movies are very charming.
Yeah. Damn, I'm the only one who did it.
Sorry.
I'm not going to do it. You'll never get me to do it.
I just needed one other person to do it with me.
Yeah, I enjoyed Bill and Ted. I've seen the ending of the first one. Probably some. I feel like by the time we were done watching it, I'm like, I feel like I've seen most of Bill and Ted, but it certainly wasn't in one sitting. And then I've seen little pieces of the second one. I knew some things, but overall hadn't seen it. Station.
2 is wild.
Station is the thing that shows up in Bill and Ted 2, and I'm like, man, this movie just went for it.
Yeah.
Also, Bill and Ted 2, not the movie I thought would make me go, damn, I mean, like, I think this a lot, but Bill and Ted 2 really made me go, shit, practical effects are cool. Why the hell? Bill and Ted 2 has so many practical effects.
Like, I freaking love the practical effects of the 2 good robot us's.
The first time you see them, they're just like, and they rip off their faces, and they're just like robots, and then they
pull them back on. Yeah.
That was like, oh, they're gonna do that kind of stuff. And then Station is a little 2 alien thing and becomes a big man,
and its whole back is a butt.
The whole back's a butt, big butt, and even looks back like winks at you.
Yeah, I really liked 2, and Death is so good.
Yeah. William Sadler. Yeah.
Especially when he's like, he's like, best 2 out of 3. They're playing electronic football. Best 4 out of 7, and they just keep beating him and beating him. And he's like,
the best part is that they kind of get the pattern, and Bill's like best out of 7. He's like, you're damn right.
That second one is a good old time.
No, funny enough, Bill and Ted 2 was the first one I ever watched.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched Bill and Ted
Hilarious.
2 when I was on vacation. My parents rented a cabin for a weekend up in Big Bear, so we went up there, and it was on TV, and my dad's like, hey, let's watch this. We watched it. I thought it was funny, and then later on, we come back home, and there's Bill and Ted Excellent Adventure. We buy it on DVD, and that eventually became my favorite.
Mag says, I'm bummed they cut scenes of Bunny and Granny on Earth. What's that?
Bunny and Granny from Hell in 2. Oh. The Easter Bunny and the
grandma.
Oh, right. Who are in the hellscape. That was the thing. It was like, brought that up, and I was like, no, you're right. It wasn't Station. It was the bunny. It was when the bunny showed up that I was like, this movie's just going to be wild.
Yeah.
Their depiction of hell is awesome.
Yeah.
I just love it when they finally meet together, and it's like, Bill, I think this is our own personal version of hell. I think you're right, Dad.
I wish there had been, well, we'll get to it. Anyway, that's my week.
All right. Let's do our news then.
Yep.
Strap in. It's going to be a long episode. Sorry. We have some sad news to report before we get started. Joe Ruby, who is the co-creator of Scooby-Doo and Dynomutt, among other Hanna-Barbera creations, passed away this week at the age of 87.
Yep.
Tragic.
Yes. Long life, everlasting legacy on the characters.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
So, good on him.
Dynamo was just in a movie.
Yeah.
He was like my favorite part of that movie it's called Scooby-Doo, which is funny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's true.
Also this week, Leslie Hamilton Freyes, who is Linda Hamilton's twin sister, also her stunt double for Terminator 2.
Yeah, she did all those sick-ass stunts, man.
Passed away this week at the age of 63.
It's a shame.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then I cannot believe I have to utter these words, but Chadwick Boseman died this week at the age of 43 due to colon cancer.
Yeah. The craziest thing is that he hid it from everybody, including everyone he worked with. Like Ryan Coogler just released a huge statement that's really, really beautiful.
Yeah, it was a good one.
He didn't know about it either, and
he kept it very private. He preferred it that way.
The people who fight the hardest are usually the ones you don't even know about. And like I don't know how anything we could say that hasn't already been said, man. But that dude made all of those Marvel movies, all of those biopics, while going through the toughest part of his life. And if that's not a hero, I honestly don't know what is.
I saw it. I was at work. I was on my break, and I was scrolling through Twitter, and then someone mentioned that, and there's that a newspaper article, and my brain, I couldn't comprehend it at first. I thought, no, this can't be real. I go check Google. I'm like, okay, this has to be fake. This has to be fake. Someone has to be pulling someone else's leg. And then Variety, Newsweek, CNN, pretty much everyone was like, if you entered Chadwick Boseman on Google, everything was about how he died, about how he died that day. And here's the thing that really, personally for me, that sucks. I think the first film I saw Chadwick in was 42, where he played Jackie Robinson of the Brooklyn Dodgers. And the day he died was the MLB made it Jackie Robinson Day, because normally that day is in April when Jackie,
as well as Jack Kirby's birthday.
And Jack Kirby's birthday. But for those of you who don't know baseball, Jackie Robinson Day is a day in April. It's the day when Jackie Robinson first took the field as a Brooklyn Dodger. So all of MLB celebrates it. Every person wears the number 42. It's this whole big thing. And he did a video wearing a number 42 hat. And then just hours later, we get the news. And I was crushed. To be a lot of there haven't been very many actors where I was my whole day, it wasn't ruined. I was just bummed.
No, it's one of those things where I think stronger than I was pretty much stronger than bummed. But
I think I was definitely more bummed.
The thing is, in our lifetime, people die, old celebrities die.
Yeah.
But it's the young ones who are struggling that hit you the hardest, because Chadwick Boseman's struggling for 4 years with this. Anton Yelchin, similar.
Yeah. When Stan Lee passed away, it was obviously sad, but it was like the dude was in his 90s.
Didn't mean to get him into a rant of comparing deaths.
No. I mean, it was still sad. It was still sad, but it was like we all knew it was coming. Whereas Chadwick, it was
his
life ahead of him.
His legacy has been cemented.
Yeah.
He'll be forever remembered. But it is a loss that will be felt for a very long time.
I plan eventually the next Marvel films I'm going to watch are all films that he was in.
I got a quote. The projects that I end up doing that I want to be involved in with anyway have always been projects that will be impactful for the most part to my people, to Black people, to see Black people in ways which they have never been seen before. That was his whole thing. That's man, that's a dude. That's a real dude.
Yeah.
It's king.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Okay, I'll comment now. I spent the night, a decent chunk of it, after we found out he passed, going through a lot of Twitter stuff, most of it interviews, things he did or was talking about, or stories about him that people were recording. And there's a lot going around there. You should look up, you should find out the long history between him and Michael B. Jordan. You should find out the speech he gave honoring Denzel Washington. That's worth watching. You should listen to the stories about him visiting kids. You should watch the video where he's talking about how important it was to him to do Black Panther for the 2 kids who were dying of cancer and weren't going to make it to see the movie. And you should watch I can't believe I'm going to recommend a Jimmy Fallon thing, but you should watch the Jimmy Fallon episode where he had Chadwick behind a Black Panther poster where they believe they're sending a video message to him talking about how important it was for them to see Black Panther, and then Chadwick surprises them. And it was about around there that I started weeping really powerfully, which only has happened to me with a celebrity death once, and it was Robin Williams. And that sucked. I don't get that connected and lose it that much, but it was really hard to watch a lot of that stuff with Chadwick, and it's really cool to know all the things that he's meant to a lot of people. It's a shame he's gone. I know we're all going to be really sad to not see him in anything anymore. I think all his filmography to some extent is worth going back and revisiting, because you're not going to get anything else with him, really. That's a really hard one. That's a really hard one as a fan of Black Panther. It's a really hard one as a fan of a lot of the works that Chadwick was doing. It's a hard one as a person who just admires the icon that he became to so many people.
Yeah. I think that's a good button to end that on, Sparks. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I guess we should move on to some. It's kind of we do have this tragic cloud over our podcast now, but we, as always, will carry on to some adult animated comedy.
I'm a fan of those.
I should have put this way later in the episode. This is a weird transition.
I mean, we do it every week.
This one just feels different. I understand, but
All right. Well, we're here. CBS All Access has ordered The Multiverse. I did not pronounce that wrong. From Kirker Butler, the producer on one of the producers on Family Guy, and Scott Mosier, the director of Dr. Seuss's The Grinch.
Scott Mosier is Kevin Smith's longtime producer pal. He's produced all his movies. Also, he has a podcast with him. So there you go.
Yes. This is a half-hour comedy that will follow the Gundersons, a seemingly normal American family dealing with the challenges of divorce. However, instead of splitting time between their father's bachelor pad and mom's suburban home, they spend their weekends with their warrior queen mother in the dangerous realm of the multiverse.
Okay. Yeah. So it's like your parents are divorced. You got to spend time with the warrior one. That sounds all right.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. I don't know about Family Guy, but
yeah.
And then
the animation looks better than that Hoops or the other same style that seems to be coming,
That's
Western sitcom animation, which I'm getting over real quick.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Star Trek Lower Decks is in that animation style.
At least the quality is there.
I got to tell you, just from what I've seen of Star Trek Lower Decks, it is there is a slight difference between what I'm talking about, which I find more lazy, and what Lower Decks and a very similarly animated show to Lower Decks, Final Space, are doing with their animation, which I find far more creative. Part of it is that they tend to work in a 3D space more than the other shows do.
Sure. Good point. It's a good point. Ben, what were you gonna say?
No, I was gonna say something about Star Trek. Oh, I remember, because I saw a thing for Hoops on Netflix, and then I was like, no. Then later on that day, I saw the thing for Star Trek. I'm like, Star Trek looks so much better than Hoops. Lower Decks looks just so much better.
You know what Hoops reminds me of?
What's
Hoops reminds me of Christ. H. John Benjamin did it. It was Gym Teacher. Home Movies.
Oh, Home Movies from Adult Swim.
Yeah.
That show.
That's a cut.
Home Movies was good.
Home Movies is awesome.
That's a cut. Oh my god.
Falls. Oh yeah.
Wait,
Coach
McGurk. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's how H. John Benjamin. The reason why H. John Benjamin's voice puts me to sleep is because of that. That's because of that show.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
All right. It was really hard watching Archer after going from Home Movies. All right. And then X-Files is getting a new spinoff in X-Files Albuquerque, which is a adult animated series.
Oh no.
Which is going to be created by the X-Files creator himself, Chris Carter.
Oh, okay.
This is going to go to Fox. Will center on an office full of misfit agents who investigate X-Files cases too wacky, ridiculous, or downright dopey for Mulder and Scully to bother with. They're essentially the X-Files B team.
So it's Lower Decks.
So it's X-Files Lower Decks.
Yeah.
100%.
Okay, who wants to put $20 down when an episode is going to involve an anal probe? I'm saying first or second episode.
I'll give him 3. See, the problem is, like, X-Files rules and Chris Carter rules, but like, I don't know. See, I was also against Lower Decks, like not against it, but like when you initially hear it, you're like, okay, but it turns out really good. So like, maybe. Chris Carter, don't do this to yourself.
Anything can be good, but I'd argue that there's less room in X-Files for this kind of show than there is in Star Trek.
Yeah, I mean, Star Trek, Space
Mag says B team, low gunman. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. This is where I should have started. Everything old is new again because Powerpuff Girls is coming back again.
I thought that was a rumor. Is that true?
This is real.
I love it.
I don't want this. I don't need this. We don't know.
Ben.
We want the Lego movie's awesome. Never say anything could be bad.
Ben, let me tell you what it is because we lost you for a second. CW is developing a new live-action Powerpuff Girls series, which sees the Powerpuff Girls as disillusioned 20-somethings who resent having lost their childhood to crime fighting. Will they agree to reunite now that the world needs them more than ever?
Okay, doesn't sound too bad.
It's only the CW. It's only the CW that I have a problem with. I am 100%. I am 1,000,000% down from this premise. This sounds like a dope ass like indie comic. That like, what do you do with your teenager when your Powerpuff Girls grow up? That sounds awesome, but it's the CW, so I don't expect much.
Exactly.
Because it's the CW. Because it's the CW. I have a very, very bad feeling they're gonna put in some forced relationships, some forced BS, some forced high school drama that they don't need. The disillusion stuff, yes, keep that.
Wait, hold on, real quickly. They're 20-something, so they're not in high school.
Oh. Whatever. It's the CW. You know they're going to throw some bullshit like that in there.
Sorry. College bullshit. Go ahead.
This is coming from writer and executive producer Heather Rayner, who was in charge of the Veronica Mars revival and iZombie for the CW.
That's a good show.
Okay. I heard iZombie.
And Diablo Cody, who is the director of Juno and Jennifer's Body.
No, she only wrote Juno.
She only wrote Juno and Jennifer's Body.
Yes. But she's an excellent writer. She really has that teenage oomph. She's got that oomph.
And obviously Berlanti is involved.
Obviously. Yeah. I say teenage, sorry, young person, because I know they're not teenagers. They're young people. She's got a great voice for young people.
Yeah, I'm kind of into this premise. But CW, why?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's WB. That's why.
But you know what? If it was like Netflix, HBO Max, even.
Would it be HBO Max?
Yes, I agree with you. If it was HBO Max, I would already feel differently.
Yeah,
I would feel more optimistic about it. But because it's CW, here's the thing: like if they're going for the Archie kind of approach,
like Riverdale,
the Riverdale approach, I'm already out.
Same.
Like if they're going for a full season, that kind of vein, that audience they're going for, I'm out. If you're going for a more Black Lightning approach, let's do a short season and commit to quality and make our characters important, I'm in. Mm-hmm. But Black Lightning is kind of the black sheep. So
yeah.
Character evolution is something I'm super all about. So like, what do you do? It's basically they're the X-Men. They're a bunch of teenagers. They're a bunch of children who had to save the world. So what happens when they grow up? They're gonna have some trauma. That's awesome.
I will say that there's something that I know that the CW likes to push for, which is diversity. That Powerpuff Girls works fine when it's animated, but when you turn it into live action, that's a very white cast.
Oh, they're definitely gonna cast someone of not white color and piss everyone off about a cartoon. Mm-hmm. Which again will be great for the show. But
I can see them also casting obviously her or him.
Him.
Those villains are so good.
It's meant to be trans.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh. Can't wait to see Mojo Jojo.
Oh God, a Mojo.
I think this is part of my thing is that it's hard for me to believe that they're going to do a lot of those classic villains. I feel like a lot of those classic villains will have gone away, and they'll be focusing on creating new villains.
Man, you mean I won't get to see the Amoeba Boys?
I don't know, man. The Rowdy Rough Boys.
Oh. Yeah.
The Rowdy Rough Boys need to be in this.
Oh, I love them. They're so gross.
You know, if the Rowdy Rough Boys are the main foil to the Powerpuff Girls, or in this show,
that'll be the whole second season.
Probably. Yeah. Because I'm trying to think. Because I know CW don't have a big budget. How are they gonna do Mojo Jojo or him? Okay, him.
You know, knowledge that the Rowdy Rough Boys would be like the most sexist assholes ever, and that would them do that.
They could reinvent it. I don't know. I was like 9. What do you expect?
Okay, it's probably easier to do on the CW's budget, but having a talking chimpanzee with a giant brain.
Like there's like the seductress lady. She's like, that lady.
Oh yeah.
Sedusa.
Also, Mojo Jojo would be really easy for the CW. They've done episodes that have King Shark and Gorilla Grodd.
That's what I was saying.
I forgot.
But what you're missing there is like Mojo Jojo is like a mainstay. And Gorilla Grodd and King Shark are used as like their CGI budget goes heavily into like 1 or 2 episodes in the season, and that's it. Mm-hmm. So Mojo Jojo would not be a fixture of the show,
unless they make him a
But that's my point, is why it's almost better to leave him off of it if he can't be a fixture, because Mojo Jojo is a fixture. So if he's not going to be ever present, then he just shouldn't be in it.
Who do you cast as the professor?
You kill him.
It's gonna be the supernatural man we don't like.
Jared Padalecki.
Yeah, I'll be him.
No, he's got Walker, Texas Ranger.
Oh shit, you're right. I keep forgetting that classic.
Who do you cast as? What's the secretary's name? The redhead.
That's probably the only person you could cast in like 1-for-1 from the show and have them be color and nobody freak out about it.
Yeah.
What's her name? Is it Miss Blossom or no?
I don't remember.
No, their teacher is Miss Blossom, isn't it?
Is it
Miss Bellum? Isn't it Miss Bellum?
Miss Bellum. Yeah, Miss Bellum. That's the one I thought of.
All right, guys. Remember, Guillermo del Toro has been working for years for a Haunted Mansion movie.
Don't do this.
Remember?
I remember.
Yeah.
Don't do it to me.
Well, that's not happening.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so shocked.
Instead, Disney is going forward with a Haunted Mansion remake, reboot, new adaptation. I don't care. From Katie Dippold, who wrote The Heat, Ghostbusters Answer the Call, which is the Lady Time one, and others for Paul Feig. Peggy.
I didn't see The Heat. I heard The Heat wasn't great. Ghostbusters is fine. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Sure.
I don't think this is a sign of what direction they could go, because obviously we've seen comedy people write horror, and so I think we could just, who knows what direction they're going to go in with this. I was hoping horror.
Yeah.
I mean, even if they did, even if it was Del Toro, it would be family-friendly horror.
Yeah.
But it will still be Del Toro levels of scary, and he can make some pretty scary shit.
PG Crimson Peak.
I don't think it would be Del Toro's maximum levels of scary. I think he would have to tone it down.
Yeah. Well, now you got Fox Disney. Do it there.
Still for Del Toro.
Speaking of remakes, The Thing is getting another adaptation. We've talked about this before when they were re-releasing Frozen Hell, the book that The Thing from Another World and The Thing are based off of, with new chapters. Now John Carpenter is apparently talking to Blumhouse about being attached to this new adaptation in some capacity.
That's the news? He's talking to him?
Yeah.
There's nothing else? Okay.
So I put it on here. I put it on here because the internet flipped with this news, as they do.
So here's the pitch, okay? It's still in the same location. It's after the original that John Carpenter did and the prequel, and it's Mary Elizabeth Winstead and Kurt Russell, old man Kurt Russell.
Jeez.
And they get back together, but a team has come to the same base, but this time they know, but they have to convince the other people who don't believe them.
Man, that's gonna. So do you?
And then one of them is the Thing.
Okay, so do you age up Mary Elizabeth or you age down Kurt Russell?
You do both.
CGI on both of them. It looks horrible. God, they made a Thing, a PlayStation 2 video game sequel game. It's not very good. Not good.
What?
They made a Thing video game that's a sequel on the PS2.
Oh my God, I do remember this.
Yeah, Kurt Russell, you play. I don't know if he's in it, but you play as McCready, and it's just like, yeah, you fight the monster and stuff.
I'll be honest with you, Ryan. I don't know what happened, but I forgot what we were talking about for a hot minute.
Oh yeah, okay.
It's because I really threw it out there with talking about Kurt Russell and Mary Elizabeth Winstead coming together for a sequel.
Have you seen The Thing, Brandon?
No, actually.
It's my favorite horror movie. You should watch it.
That would be like a weird real version of if Bruce Campbell and Jane Levy had been allowed to get together for an Evil Dead movie.
Oh yeah, that's also
my dream.
Yeah, they said it'll happen.
Speaking of dreams coming true, though, Resident Evil is getting a live-action TV series from Netflix. It's not actually dreams come true. I don't know why I said that.
It's somebody's dream.
It is showrunner Andrew Dabb's dream. Surely.
Dab!
Who's one of the writers, probably the current showrunner of Supernatural right now. But he's going to be making the jump to Netflix to do a Resident Evil series. Bronwyn Hughes, who's directed many episodes of The Walking Dead, is directing the first 3 episodes of the series. That's kind of cool. All right. We don't know what it's about?
I know.
All right. We'll span 2 different timelines. In the first timeline, 14-year-old sisters Jade and Billy Wesker are moved to New Raccoon City, a manufactured corporate town forced on them right as adolescence is in full swing. But the more time they spend there, the more they come to realize that the town is more than it seems, and their father may be concealing dark secrets that could destroy the world.
Yeah, hell yeah.
All right, the second timeline. Cut to, this is what it says in the press release, cut to the second timeline. Well over a decade into the future, there are less than 15 million people left on Earth and more than 6 billion monsters, people, and animals infected with the T-virus. Jade, now 30, struggles to survive in this world where the secrets from her past about her sister, about her father, and herself continue to haunt her.
So, as someone who has the most Resident Evil experience, I find this both incredibly fascinating, but also utterly frustrating because I think the 2 timeline thing is a really dope idea. And showing the kids of Wesker, Albert Wesker is the main bad guy for the entire franchise. He starts as a good guy and he becomes the antagonist for the entire series, like the entire thing. It's really cool that they're so. The thing is, Wesker's kids don't exist or don't matter, so it's weird that they're going this route. But I do like making Wesker the the main force of the show, because you can really do some great dynamics of the character turning bad. Like you see a person become evil. That's a cool aspect. It's the kid aspect that I'm just not sure about, because no Resident Evil thing is about following a bunch of kids. Somebody said this sounds like Stranger Things meets Resident Evil, and that's what I got too. That kind of bums me out, but it sounds cool still.
But I mean, like, it's not really about following a bunch of kids, because you're following them like pre-apocalypse as kids, but then they're adults when you're watching them post-apocalypse. So it's not like kids versus monsters.
Well, no. And that's, again, it's like they call it New Raccoon City. So is this after a first wave of a zombie outbreak? Because it doesn't sound like it. Because I don't think you come back after 6 billion people are zombies. I don't think you quickly come back from that. So they're playing with the mythology in a way that's very interesting. I don't go to Resident Evil to follow kids, and I know they're not the main focus. So I just don't really. You have to be a really good kid actor for me to like you. I don't really like kid actors very much. They just annoy me. So I just don't want any of that, because like bad regular actors are enough, but like bad kid actors destroy your product. I just hope it has all the crazy cool monsters. It sounds like it'll have all like the crazy espionage. Because if it's doing like a whole TV show, you gotta get the zombies somehow. So I'm more interested than if it was like what the movies were doing. It's nicer doing at least something different.
Sure.
All right. Speaking of things being canceled after 2 seasons, remember, Altered Carbon was canceled after its 2nd season, and the anime. So,
yeah. I didn't finish season 1 of Altered Carbon, but that is, I believe, Netflix's most expensive show. Right, as of now, I think whatever they're making next will probably be more expensive. But like that was like their big. We're going hard into science fiction. Please watch it. And I guess nobody did, except for me, who watched two episodes or whatever. I'm excited for that anime still. I'll watch that anime.
Yeah. And then what this actually should be last. So we'll go The Kingsman. The Kingsman. The prequel to The Kingsman has been moved from its September release date, which is coming up, to February 26th, 2021. Just bailed out of the year altogether.
I'm not going to lie to you. I'm a little surprised.
Yeah?
Yeah, I thought they'd just go for the same audience at this point that New Mutants is and do VOD a few weeks later.
Yeah.
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 I guess it really wants that money.
Or probably is one of the few Fox things that Disney's like, hey, this isn't bad.
Yeah,
we should keep this one.
We should try to put it in theaters, yeah.
Like Death on the Nile. Which we'll talk about later. And Star Trek Discovery, season 1 will begin to air on CBS at 10 o'clock.
Cool.
10 o'clock at night? What?
Yep.
Well, that's late.
It's pretty dark for families.
Doesn't matter if you have a DVR, so
Yeah.
Yeah, so you want to watch Star Trek Discovery, don't want to get that CBS All Access? There you go.
have access to cable. Otherwise, hear SOL.
Yeah.
It will. So it's airing 3 weeks before season 3 airs on CBS All Access, and they'll play the entire season 1, season 2, all the way through. Which is what they should have done in the first place, anyway.
So what they're doing is, hey, we're going to give you seasons 1 and 2 for free, so you better pay us for season 3.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, they're just trying to get more subscribers.
That makes. I mean, that is a good way to do something, I guess.
They aired the first episode on CBS and was like, "Hey, want this next part? It's up on CBS All Access right now."
That's why I watched Picard. Yeah.
Yeah. Lower Decks, by the way, is on YouTube. The first episode.
I truly don't know how something like CBS justifies expenses of their shows that they're making on All Access, because most television shows are made with the intent of reaching syndication, but that's a cable network thing that doesn't apply on streaming services. So I don't know it's just I wonder how that works.
Their business strategy.
I wondered how that works with a lot of streaming services, but I really wonder how it works when you're a network show doing a streaming service.
Yeah.
Or sorry, a network company doing a streaming service.
All right. Raya and the Last Dragon, the next Disney animated film, princess film. Next year, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Has recast the role of Cassie Steele, who is playing Raya, with Kelly Marie Tran from Star Wars The Last Jedi. So she will now portray Raya. Don Hall, who is the director of Moana and Big Hero 6, and Carlos Lopez Estrada, the director of Blindspotting, have been announced as now directors. The original directors, Paul Briggs and Dean Wellens, are now listed as co-directors.
Oh.
Playwright, screenwriter Qui Nguyen, from She Kills Monsters and Viet Gone, which are plays, and she's also written screenplays. She has been added as screenwriter with Adele Lim from Crazy Rich Asians, still using her original script.
Wow, this movie sounds like it's in bad shape, huh?
That would be my guess.
Did you get new cast, a new writer, a new director? This movie's terrible, right? Is that what the problem is? This movie's terrible, and they're like, we got to redo it? Is this a solo situation? Like, what?
It's so late.
That's what I mean.
Late in the production of this.
Animated movies are so different than live action. You can, we shoot something. Let's get back on the set. You got to make that shit. Like, wonder what's going on with that movie. Wow.
Sparks, you're the Disney animated expert here. What would you say?
I have no reason to think at this moment that these are signs of like, oh, the movie was in trouble. If I were to venture a guess, I think that some of these decisions were probably made a while ago, and we're just hearing about them right now. I think that these were probably thoughts that were in the works after the D23 reveal last year, because that movie was supposed to originally come out this year, Raya and the Last Dragon. So I don't think that they pushed back the date and then decided, you know what, let's rework the movie. I think they were probably talking about this a while ago. I think that Kelly Marie Tran that's an awesome thing because I like her. It seems like that would probably be inspired a lot by the animation representation choices that have been happening recently. But as far as the directors and the writers, I don't think I just will say that I don't think it's a sign that movie's in trouble, because based on just the D23 conversation, and when I was there at the studios, I saw Paul Briggs, and Paul Briggs was talking about, we didn't know he was talking about Raya, but he was talking about Raya. And I don't have a lot of reason right now to think that it was going to be in bad shape. I don't think it's as bad as it sounds, is what I'm saying.
So you get a new writer, you get a new director, and you get a new cast member, but your movie is completely fine?
I'm saying that I think these are things that were probably being worked out already a while ago midway, not the Kelly Marie Tran part, but this is when we're finding out about new directors and writer. And sure. I don't think it means that the film was in trouble. I think these were people who came in partway into the game anyway. Okay. Again, because just the way, you're right, because the way animation films work, they're not redoing the whole movie, so it can't be in that bad of a shape. When that happens, you scrap it. Because
I mean, you can rewrite scenes. You can do a couple new scenes.
You can, right? Exactly. But they're not changing the entire film.
No.
With it still coming out next year. So I would
watch
say that happened a while old.
I would recommend watching the Frozen 2 Into the Unknown making of docuseries, because it does talk about it kind of exposes Disney a little bit, and how late in the game a movie can change before it's finalized. So very interesting to watch.
So this is maybe getting a Frozen 2 situation then, huh?
Right. That's kind of was my first thought, but it is a little concerning. All right. I didn't know where this should go, so I put it here. Davey Holmes, the writer and creator of the Get Shorty TV series for Epix, with Ray Romano and Chris O'Dowd, is developing Highfire for Amazon Prime, based on the Eoin Golfers. Did I pronounce that right?
I don't know.
The writer of Artemis Fowl. It's one of his novels.
Oh, I don't know how to pronounce it, but I'm gonna look.
The reason why this is on here is because Nicolas Cage has been cast as the dragon Highfire.
Eoin Colfer.
Eoin Colfer.
Nick's a dragon? Hell yeah.
Nicolas Cage will star in the series for Amazon Prime as Highfire, described as a vodka-drinking, flash dance-loving dragon who lives an isolated existence in the bayous of Louisiana.
Oh, so he's Swamp Thing.
Yeah. Killer Croc.
Yeah, Killer Croc. Is this live action or animated?
Live action.
This is a weird movie.
Show.
Wow, I'm into it. Is it on Netflix? What is it on?
Amazon Prime.
Wow, got money. All right.
Mag says 24 question mark. Who did 24? 24? Anybody?
Jack Bauer? Oh, I don't know.
Mag, what are you talking about? I'll read the description of what the series is about. In the series, dragons once ruled the earth, and Lord Highfire ruled his dragons from his eyrie. Yeah. But this is not once upon a time, this is now. And now all Lord Highfire rules is his shack in Louisiana's Honey Island swamp. Highfire has become plain old Vern, and by day he hides out among the alligators, watches cable TV, and drinks obscene amounts of vodka to pass the time. It isn't much of a life, but he's alive to live it. And Vern is prepared to do whatever it takes, even if it's violent, to preserve his own hide. When Vern's world collides with a human teen named Squib, who becomes mixed up in some trouble while running booze for the local mob, their mutual struggle for survival becomes entangled in the most unlikely of friendships.
So it's modern day Dragonheart.
Pretty much.
Cool. Gawain. Wait, what's the guy's? What was the thing? What's the
Bowen?
Dragons, you know, King Arthur, whatever.
A knight is sworn to valor.
God, what a movie. Hey man, Nick Cage is cool. I'll watch him be a dragon. That's fine.
Yeah. I hope he does the mocap like Benedict Cumberbatch.
Oh my God, yes. I want to see it behind.
That'd be cool.
All right. Gamescom. We're here. We got a lot to talk about.
So many trailers.
Thank you for putting this together, Ryan.
Also Sparks.
And Sparks. Completely out of my element here. So I'll just read the list and you guys take over.
So just real quick, if you don't know, guys, Gamescom is the biggest convention in the world. It's bigger than Comic-Con. It gets like 200,000 people in Cologne, Germany. It is E3 times 1,000. That's why we have like a billion trailers to talk about. Right. Some of them are old, some of them are new, but Gamescom is the international E3.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but we don't normally see everything that comes out at Gamescom. Isn't that true?
What do you mean?
Like usually, like there's a chunk of things that happen at normal conventional Gamescom when it happens that are kept to the shore floor. Like they're not things that are put out on the internet. Like E3.
Yeah,
it's not like E3.
Gamescom it is very open door, but it's also very behind the scenes where like developers get to talk to like creators and stuff and like hash out business deals and stuff like that.
Yeah, there's a lot of industry stuff in there, and so some things usually don't make it to the internet. I think it has much of a burst as this did.
Yes. But we got a lot to talk about.
All right. Well, Dragon Age 4 was announced.
Yes. Has anyone played Dragon Age besides me?
No.
Yes.
No.
Good. Cool. Dragon Age is made by BioWare, the guys who make Mass Effect and Knights of the Old Republic. It's a fantasy RPG. Those games are all fun. 2 is not very good. 3 is probably the best.
I think the best thing about that series, from my experience with it, and certainly what they're talking about with Dragon Age 4, is they're very committed to characterization.
That's what BioWare has always been about.
Yeah.
Is this the one that Felicia Day did the YouTube series on?
I mean, she has her own show called The Guild. Is that what you mean?
No. She did a tie into a video game where she was an elf thingy.
Probably.
With knives.
I'm not sure. I've only played part of the first one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna say yes, it's true. Yes, Dragon Age Redemption.
Oh, okay.
I've never seen that, but it's a fun fantasy series with great characterizations and like romance choices, character creation stuff. This one's been in development for a long time, so we're just waiting for more of it.
All right, and then Away, where you get to play as a sugar glider.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about this. So this is in the future where nature has reclaimed the planet, and you play a sugar glider, which I just already think is pretty great. But it gets a little interesting. So I was just watching it, and I'm like, oh yeah, this seems kind of like a land man-eater, and I can kind of be into that. A sugar glider is an interesting concept and all that. And then I got like 5 minutes into the gameplay video, and there's this part where it's like, oh, well, there's a thing down in that stump, but we're too big to get there. I guess we'll have to use our special ability, Possession. And I'm like, what? Wait, what?
Hell yeah.
And so you eat blue mushrooms, and the sugar glider gets like blue sparkles along its fur right at the tips on its back. And then you can pick smaller animals or sometimes bigger animals to possess. And then you become a little beetle. And and I'm like, all right, this game just got. And then it's like you find out that there was like a research facility there where they were studying the animals.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I am really interested in this game now. This is super bizarre. So anyway, I wanted to share that. Yeah. That's it.
Real quick, when I lived in Texas in like the 3rd grade, my friend had sugar gliders, and I never saw them before. They're so cute. And they're like, like, oh, I love them. They're so great.
All right. Sims 4 has announced a Star Wars Bot 2 expansion.
Yep.
This is an interesting one that I did not expect.
It's super strange.
This is the theme park at Disneyland.
So no, it is not the theme park. I mean, it is the theme park,
it's
but
like,
in the game,
it's, like
it's literally going to Batu.
Yeah.
Like you're there. And now you can build Star Wars homes and things like that, and you interact with all the characters, including like theme park original characters. But it's like gonna look, it's gonna have the iconic locations of the theme park, but be a little more because it's supposed to be real Batu. It's weird.
They got Jim Cummings to do.
The speaking Simlish, yeah. I haven't played the Sims in a while, but like, they don't. The last time they had a brand integration like this, I believe, was the Herbs Sims in the City, which is a Black Eyed Peas themed Sims game where you hang out with the Black Eyed Peas and shit. So like, I understand why it's been like 20 years since I've done this.
This was just a weird one though.
It just feels, it's really cool. If you really like Star Wars, you can live a Star Wars life.
It's just Star Wars Sims. Cool.
I'm just wondering if it was like the Sims guys who are like, maybe if we go to Star Wars, they'll say yes. And then they did. We're like, like that's just like, that sounds fun.
Yeah.
For Sims people.
Alrighty. The next Dark Pictures anthology game, Little Hope, revealed the trailer to release this Halloween.
Yeah. Dark Pictures anthology games. The previous one was Man of Medan, and this is from the team that did Until Dawn.
Hell yeah.
And they're coming back for another. I'm already more interested in this one than I was in Man of Medan. Mm-hmm. Like, I really want to play this one. I still want to play Man of Medan, but this one, I'm intrigued in this story already. So this looks dope.
If you guys haven't played if you haven't played Man of Medan or seen Until Dawn, they are very much like Telltale games, but way more like not realistic, but it's like more fleshed out.
Yeah.
They're full ass like 12, 15 hour games, at least Until Dawn was, but it's all about like picking and like choosing, oh, this person dies or this person does this. But it all looks really good. All well voice acted, like all famous actors, like Rami Malek and Hayden Panettiere are in Until Dawn.
And you have the ability to like play through choices of the story for characters with your friends and things like that, both online and in person.
Yeah. Cool.
All right.
Then
spooky time.
Doom Eternal: Ancient Gods Part 1 was announced.
Ben, did you beat Doom Eternal yet?
No, not yet.
Yeah. I saw part of the trailer, but I didn't think we all needed to watch it.
I haven't played it yet. But...
Yeah, I haven't played through Doom Eternal yet, but it looks cool. I'm glad that they're doing this expansion.
More single player content is always nice.
Yes, it is.
World of Warcraft Shadowlands expansion was announced with the trailer.
Yeah.
So World of Warcraft is approaching 16 years of being online. That's impressive. I played World of Warcraft many years in my teenage youth, and I stopped playing at the second expansion. Now they're up to their like 5th or 6th expansion. Like that, and the game still has millions and millions of people.
I think I dropped off at 4.
Yeah.
Like truly dropped off at 4.
Was that Cataclysm when you dropped off?
I went one past Cataclysm. Whatever that was.
I don't even remember.
I went one past.
You played more than me then I bet.
But
they also, so like this is a new expansion, and like it looks like they're going to like, you know, like the equivalent of like the afterlife or whatever, which is a cool aspect. But I don't know if you have it in the news, but they also announced like an animated series.
Yes, it's right after.
Cool. I'll just talk about that now because I don't know much about Shadowlands because I don't play it.
They are making an animated short called Afterlives Bastion.
Yeah. I'll be honest. Blizzard makes the best cutscenes maybe in all of like video games. Like their CG stuff is really great. So it's super interesting that they're taking this very 2D, like almost like motion comic approach. It looks cool, but like I know Blizzard's got money.
So wait,
I know they got money.
So wait, question. You said they're creating a short. Was that not the short? It's 6 minutes long, and it's a story.
That might be the first part of it.
Yeah.
But it's going to be like a series of shorts.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, so I understand what you mean, Brandon. Because that seems like short itself.
Blizzard's also very famous for making like 5-6 minute long cinematic trailers for their stuff. Like I still
why didn't they do it for this?
Did they have it for Shadowlands? I thought they did.
I'll ask my Blizzard representative.
We have someone we could ask.
That's funny. We do.
We know someone who works at Blizzard. We could ask.
All right. Okay. Unknown 9.
Yeah.
Awakening.
Yeah. It's just a little cinematic trailer. I'm only like super interested in it because of the setting specifically, which is not a white male lead. Yeah. So that's cool. But more than anything, I'm super curious about the fact that what they said about it is it is going to be billed as a story world that will encompass books, comics, podcasts, and games, all set within a universe based on the real world, but built around historical mythology and conspiracy theories, and filled with shadow organizations trying to uncover or protect dangerous knowledge.
So,
what?
Again, like the trailer shows, like it's this little girl and she develops powers. So, like, they are so bold with saying we're going to have a multimedia experience with every type of a medium you can imagine. I'm like, you guys are going really bold. I really hope you live up to it.
Yeah, the Unknown 9 Awakening will be set around 100 years before most of the other Unknown 9 stories that are going to come out.
God.
And it is designed as an initiatory experience.
Ooh.
I'm good. If it's a good game,
yeah,
great.
It just they're setting themselves up for failure.
Yeah, because just from that explanation from Sparks alone, I'm already like, I have no idea what the frack is going on. I'm punching out. I'm done.
Well, you'd have to watch the trailer too, but the trailer features a little girl named Haruna who lives in Kolkata, India, and she's a street-smart survivor that struggled to stay alive for most of her childhood. And she discovers she has the ability to slow the perception of time and manipulate the energy of people's bodies.
Okay.
All right. That was cool. Yeah. I'm intrigued by the boldness more than anything. But like conceptually, what they show, it's just a cinematic trailer, but what they show, I'm like, look, you got my attention. If the game's good, I'm there.
Yeah. Find out next year.
It's like that space one that we talked about a while back where the guy's just like, where the guy's like floating up off the earth and the little girl's there and he floats towards the debris in space. And we're just like, what is this game?
Where are you?
Yeah. That was from the Xbox conference, right?
Yeah.
Transient.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about Transient because it's inspired by H.P. Lovecraft, which happens
multiple,
a lot in video games. There are
multiple
today.
Yeah.
But Transient looks really cool. I really like the design of it. It looks unique from other Lovecraftian attempts.
It's modern and it's very like scientific, which is always a fun approach.
Yeah. And so there you can see the Lovecraft influence, but it's not as direct as I think a lot of other Lovecraft adaptations have been. Mm-hmm. I just really like the vibe of it. I like the look of it.
This is the one with the white Martians?
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah.
They're actually Lovecraftian.
I thought that one looks cool.
Yeah.
All right, we talked a little bit about Fall Guys. Fall Guys Season 2 had a trailer at this Gamescom.
Yeah, how'd you like it?
I really want some of those costumes.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I really want those. I want the wizard, the knight, and the dragon the most.
More than anything, I'm glad that I'm glad that they have shown a willingness not only to cosmetically change their obstacle courses to match a season, but also to create new variations. And new kinds of levels rather than like which my hope is that when season 2 happens, we'll get into that stuff a lot, but like when the game hits a lull point, you'll get both, or whatever they create for the game, you'll get to cycle through at random.
So this game is doing what most, like it does what Fortnite does and all these games where it has like a battle pass.
Yeah.
And so so they have multiple seasons. Like Fortnite's in like a 10th season by now, but seasons happen every couple of months, and it's what keeps getting people in. Like, oh, here's a new map, here's new costumes, and then they cycle it in after a couple months to people who missed it first time.
Right.
So it's always cycling in new stuff for new people.
That's what I love.
Yeah. So if this game is the most downloaded PS Plus game of all time, it's like the most played game right now on Twitch. I fully expect it to be supported for many years.
Yeah.
Yeah, also, like, when we're, it's not just they're slapping a medieval skin on it, they're making new obstacle courses for these things as well, which I'm okay for, because when myself, Sparks, and Brandon were playing Fall Guys the other day, we kept getting the damn seesaw course over and over again.
So I have to tell you, Ben, because that was your first experience, like, that the first time I played, I had really bad luck, and, like, every, like, track of 3, I'm telling you, like, every track of 3 rounds, when I would get up to 3 rounds, were the exact same rounds. Yeah. But the thing is that there is actually a lot of variety. It usually cycles through better than the experience you had. But I mean, like,
the first time I actually played Fall Guys, like the first time I ever sat down and played it, I got the whirligig like 4 times out of 6.
Sure. Yeah, and that's the thing, is, like, sometimes it's really random and sometimes it isn't, but I am glad that, like, we have a lot to look forward to.
Yeah.
As they're going to build out the game. I think that's great.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, this is cool.
Yeah.
Kiwi.
Ben, you like the post office, so Kiwi.
I've never wanted to work in a post office. No offense, Benjamin, but man, this game looks cute as hell. It reminded me of Overcooked. It's a cooperative post office game where you play as a couple Kiwis. Kiwis? Are they Kiwis? Is that what called? Okay, the name is Kiwi birds, yeah. But like you have to manually type on a keyboard with like each of the little things, and you have to like do stuff.
All spread out.
Yeah, it just looks like a really fun cooperative experience. It's probably not going to be like really expensive. It just looks like a fun little game.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Fist, Forged in Shadow Torch.
Ben, this is a Metroidvania. This is why I put this on the list for you.
Yeah, no, I'm actually really digging it because, so I mean, it's not done yet. Because when I was watching trailers, like, hey, one of the things I love about a lot of these Gamecoms trailers is that when they'll straight up say, is like, this ain't done yet. So this isn't what's going to look like at the end, but here's something we're working on.
I love when game developers do that because it doesn't give me unrealistic expectations of a game, which a lot of companies are like, hey, here's this dope-ass trailer, and then the game comes out and it doesn't even look like that. So like, appreciate when they're like, hey, we're still working on it. If it looks bad, it's because it does.
Right.
Yeah. So Fist looks really, really cool. I like how the rabbit has a robot arm as well as its regular bionic, as its organic arms. So far, it looks really dope. I like how you have to. It's like they said, it's a Metroidvania game, and I like those games. I like those games a lot, even though I don't play them as much as I should. But it looks fun. I like how you can change your weapons from a drill to a whip to the fist, and I'm like, yeah, this looks rad. I can't wait for this to come out. This looks really fun.
Fighting a bunch of animal robots. This looks like a good old time.
Yeah,
and it's also like branching paths too, so you can like. It's not just like go right or then jump down, then go to the left. It's like you can jump up to that spot there, and there could be a treasure. There could be secrets.
I like the design look a lot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The cinematic was funny when it was open and the bear with the goggles.
Yes, and the bear's there. I love that too. Yeah.
I was like, "Is this what's going on here? Is that a bear?"
Right.
And then we see the rabbit. I'm like, "Oh,
Scarlet Nexus."
Anime.
This game looks dope. Anime fight scenes, anime coolness. This game looks dope.
This is a superhero alien invasion action RPG anime, and I'm all about it.
More than
in other words, it's right up Ben's alley.
Yeah.
Why'd you point at Brandon when you said Ben?
I'm Ben Magnet. I'm Ben Magnet.
Bang Magnet.
Ben, you're Ben Magnet. You do this. You don't do this.
Now.
Guys. I'm Bang Magnet.
What's up, Bang Magnet?
My favorite thing about Scarlet Nexus is definitely that the creatures, a lot of them look like weird Salvador Dali creations come to life.
Like that weird thing with stuff hanging. I don't even know what it was. What they
There's
were.
like potting plants on top of them. Like it's a very unique design. The thing I'm really excited about is the combat. It's a mix of swordplay and also psychokinesis, where you're just like throwing shit at people. Yeah. So you have triggers mapped to your melee and triggers mapped to your throwing shit. So you're just doing shit all the time, almost like Control. I'm always down when you can just pick something up behind you and throw it at someone. It's always cool.
Yeah. And also, the art style is great. It looks like it's a beautiful 2D-esque anime game. The art what I saw was gorgeous. And then we just got into crazy bombastic fights. I'm like, I'm into this shit. Take my money. Give me that Scarlet Nexus now, please. I'll take it.
All right. Little Nightmares 2.
So,
holy shit, you guys.
So Fanny watched this trailer with me, and the first thing out of her mouth, the second that trailer was over, was, "So, honey, are Ryan and Sparks going to force you to play this on Halloween when it comes out?" I'm like, I'm willing to bet money they are.
This is a Switch exclusive, and this looks like one of the scariest games I've ever seen. I cannot believe this is a Nintendo exclusive video game that I have to play on my cool Switch.
There's the one part where like the little dolls, the doll has her head, and it's just like on a like snake thing chasing them through the pillar area, and I'm like,
that was some Beetlejuice shit right there.
Yeah, it is.
The Slender Man.
Yeah, you play as like these tiny dolls in a world of like of dolls, of like bigger dolls, and like their heads can turn around, and like there's like mannequin fingers that chase you. Yeah. That's the thing that got me, and just like the little hand, I'm like, oh, the thing. I think this looks hella scary, like really scary. Like it affected me. I'm like, oh man, trailers don't really do this for me. And again, I'm just so happy Nintendo was like, nah, we want this one.
I am mentally preparing myself for when this game comes out. And when quarantine's finally lifted, so I could finally go back to do a play-based arcade with you guys again, just sit down. Little Nightmares is in the Switch, and I'm just gonna sit there going,
it's approaching. We're talking about how we're gonna do that. Don't worry.
Yeah. But yeah, Little Nightmares does look dope. I actually love one of the things I really liked about Little Nightmares personally was the fact that it was horrifying without the you see the doll hands. And you saw, and that, especially that one scene where I would assume a protagonist has the hammer and smashes the doll head, and I'm like, this is actually really cool, a good way to get away from like the rated M for mature, like the blood, the gore, and all that stuff. Because normally you see stuff like that, it's like bloody, it's gory, it's disgusting, but no, they're just doll pieces, and that actually is 10 times more scary than just seeing a seeing a dismembered bar is scary, but seeing a dismembered doll hand and then it start moving on its own. I'm like, I'm getting the fuck out of here.
Yeah. There's something really unnatural about like things that aren't supposed to be moving. Like
there you go. Yeah, that's the thing.
Mannequins.
Mm-hmm. Well, I like that scene in I Am Legend where that mannequin was there and Will Smith is like, "Why are you here?"
No, Frank! No, Frank!
Yeah, Frank. That was his name.
Frank was an auton. Doctor Who reference for you.
I got you.
I know you do, baby. All right, Medal of Honor, Above and Beyond.
Yes, this might be. This is another VR game that's like, oh man, VR seems to be doing really well. Mm-hmm. This looks like a good regular game, but it's also all in VR. So
there's a whole portion when they were doing the Gamescom thing where they have them talking about like our goal when we did Medal of Honor was to make you feel like you're a part of this moment in history. And the dedication they have in trying to make this feel real, they show a lot of them like working very practically to create a lot of the effects to know what they would feel like if you were there, talking to veterans, all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, man, this is some dedication that I can appreciate for sure.
Yeah.
Respawn made Titanfall. They worked on Apex Legends. This is like the next thing, but it's only VR. I forgot.
Last Fallen. Yeah, Jedi Fallen. I almost said Last Jedi for some reason.
Last Jedi. Yeah.
Enrico Palazzo says, I am out riding my bike in 90-degree heat with 90% humidity, while Dale's in his climate-controlled BMW. Why are you listening to us?
Thanks, Enrico. Sorry about the heat. I understand.
Cool.
It's hot up here.
Get off your bike.
He's got to get somewhere.
Where is he riding?
He's listening.
It's almost
Call of the Sea.
Yeah, so this is the other H.P. Lovecraft, but I'm so excited for this because if you watch the minute-long trailer with the developer, this is not a regular Lovecraft thing where it's about horror and being scary. It's the opposite of that. Instead of like, what was the quote? It's like
it's not a descent into madness. It's an ascent into sanity.
Yes, it's an ascent into sanity. Mm-hmm. So instead of like focusing on the horror stuff, it's also like it's mostly all the surreal stuff that H.P. Lovecraft does really well. Like stuff like being off where it's not supposed to, or like rocks you climb up and shit like that. There's really cool environmental stuff.
Yeah.
So there are 2 Lovecraft games coming out around the same time that are very different, but both inspired by the same thing. And I just think that's fantastic.
Enrico Palazzo says, this is not a cookie cutter podcast. Us?
Thank you. I appreciate it.
We are not.
I'll take it.
Like 7 cookies.
Mafia.
Because we're 6 hours long.
Mafia Definitive
Definitive.
Definitive Edition.
Yes. So I played Mafia when it came out 16 years ago. I played that game when I was 12 years old, and that is a decent Godfather-esque type game. Like, you're a guy rising up the crime family. The story in that game is really dope, but the gameplay was kind of mediocre. So this definitive edition seems to be amping up the combat, because they just released Mafia 3 last year. So it looks like they're kind of making the combat better and redoing the story, like with new cutscenes to make it a little bit better while keeping the core of the story. I love a really good Mafia game. And the last one I played was probably Mafia 2, like 10 years ago.
Yeah,
I never played Mafia 3, unfortunately. But
the only Mafia style game I ever played was the Godfather game on PS2.
That is so weird. one because
there is a story.
Okay. Game.
Hold up, there is a story, a pretty long story of how.
We don't have time for the long story.
I'm not going to tell you how, but that's the last time I played a Mafia style game. This game looks pretty fun. I want to look into it more.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was about to strap in.
Nope. I'm not doing that to you guys this time. If you want to know, ask me later.
Brandon, you jumped over Chinatown?
Did I?
Yeah. Chinatown Detective Agency.
You're right. Chinatown Detective Agency.
Oh, yeah.
This is a super cool looking, like, 2D text adventure detective game. I just think that looks really cool.
No, this reminds me a lot of Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego.
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
It's kind of like a evolved version. And it's going to be based in having a lot of like real world clues.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hold on. I took a picture of something that I really thought was dope. Hold on. About that game.
What do you think, Brandon?
I stopped watching. I didn't care. I'm sorry.
Unlike most mystery-driven adventure games, Chinatown Detective Agency asks you to be intuitive enough to know when to look for clues beyond the game. You'll have to think like a detective and find the answers you seek through real-world investigations. Maybe that means popping into Google to look up an airport code that Amara needs to track down the origins of some quote, or discover something in-game. I think that's radical. That's something that like Metal Gear Solid does.
That is. I was going to say, it's like when Metal Gear Solid where you had to look on the case to find the code.
There's a radio thing in Metal Gear Solid, and you have to look at the back of the game case to get the code for the thing, or else you just can't progress. It eventually tells you. Wow. It's really cool. I always like when games try to do. A lot of times they don't do it well. That's why Metal Gear does it and no one else does it. So I'm really curious if this is able to do it in a fun way where it doesn't feel bad.
Also, I did the art style.
Yeah.
Like, it looks very simple. The game looks like a very I don't want to say old, but because the pixel art makes it look old, but the
retro
HUD looks okay. I'll take that. It looks like a early '90s retro PC game, like Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego, but cranked up, and I really kind of dig that. It's not relying on hardcore. It's not relying on the best graphics or anything. It's like, here's a story. Here's what you need to do to figure this out. And I actually kind of dig that, because back when I was in elementary school, I loved playing Carmen Sandiego. When I was in the computer lab, that's the only game I would play. Actually, Pac-Man, but those are the only two games I would play.
All right. Sendris. Which one is this one?
This is the survival one.
It's a survival one.
It's a survival one. It's all black and white. You have like the guys,
right.
and it's got them sitting around the fire pit, and you've got the one health pack, and you have to decide which person who really needs it gets it.
Okay.
And I just really like the style of it a lot. I think it's going to be a nice little indie game.
Yeah,
I want to spotlight it. So, like this, it grabbed my attention.
I agree.
No, actually, the part where it grabbed my attention was where you have the one health pack. You have to pick and choose who gets it.
Yeah,
and I'm like, this is really, you got stakes. You have some hard, like at first he's like, food for you, food for you, food for you. I'm like,
I'm curious.
I'm like, oh my god, some of you guys might go hungry. And then as the trailer progressed, different people were following you. So I'm like, oh shit, this is like Oregon Trail, but not.
I'm curious if it's going to be more like a journey where there's not so much actual like hardcore gameplay, and it's more just like you have to you're experiencing the survival.
I suspect so. I suspect so.
Yeah, because
you choose to trust or kill like those guys, and then you say kill, and they're just like their blood on. And
you probably just take their stuff.
And you take their stuff, and I think it's going to be based a lot on just like your choices and things, and I just really like the look of it. I think it's going to be really fun.
A lot of good indie games. Yeah, this Gamescom.
12 minutes.
Boy, guys, this game has been in development for like 5 years.
Ryan and I got excited about this a while ago.
Probably a year ago.
Probably a year ago, we saw a trailer for this.
Yeah, this was on E3 trailers, wasn't it?
Yes. And it looked good. But now we know with this trailer that it has a voice cast that is stellar, which is James McAvoy and Daisy Ridley and Willem Dafoe.
Yeah.
I was already excited. I'm so excited for this game.
So if you can't tell from the name or the trailer 12 minutes, you are living in the same loop that's 12 minutes long that you have to figure out a way to escape. So you keep replaying the same moments over and over again until you figure out ways to get further and further and further, like in a Groundhog Day situation. And there are so many. Again, this game's been in development for years, guys. Like, people have been waiting for this game for so long. So we've seen a lot of the stuff, but they've changed so much of it because it's been in development so long. But like, some loops can last like 7 seconds, and then some loops can last like 11 minutes, and you make it almost to the end and something bad happens. And you're like, was it something at the end that messed me up, or was it something at the beginning? And you don't know. And I'm like, that's cool game design, man. That's cool game design.
That is. Yes. Seeing the trailer, like seeing the voice cast for this trailer, and because I think I remember a little bit about 12 minutes from E3 last year, but rewatched this trailer, I was like, oh no, this game, it's got something special for it.
It's stuck in an apartment, yeah, and like you'll probably only do a couple hours long.
All the different things that can happen, like you see I'm assuming the wife. You see the wife on the floor, blood everywhere. You see the robber busting in. You see the guy alone freaking out at the door. Yeah. And you see all these different things happening, whereas Willem Dafoe's amazing narration is in the background, which is also scary as hell.
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn, this is going to be a great game.
I just think the presentation is also really good.
Same.
Oh yeah.
It's a story about a man stuck in a time loop.
Oh yeah.
All right. Lemnis Gate.
Okay, so I don't know how this game is going to actually work real time, but it is a turn-based first-person shooter where each person has 25 seconds to make their move in the world. So, and then the next person makes their move. So you're playing chess, but playing a first-person shooter at the same time, and that is so infinitely fascinating. I don't know how it could possibly work.
Right.
It looks so cool, but I can't imagine how it actually works in like the long run.
It's the kind of thing you like have to do it to really
yeah.
So when I first saw this trailer and it says like, oh yeah, you move like 25 seconds, you get a turn, you get to do stuff. So I'm like, all right, so it's like turn-based strategy, maybe kind of like XCOM, but you get a different perspective. It's not a grid or a tactical game like a grid. No. So I mean, it does seem weird. So you can like go to one side of the building and then you see another guy go to the other side. It's like, haha, he can't see me. And then once you're in the trailer, I have no idea.
I think it's maybe like score based, like per round. Like you'll make your move, and then the person make the move, and then whoever gets like first to 10 kills or something.
And you start like adding in more of you.
You stop the person who kills you this round, then they stop you.
But did you guys watch into the gameplay thing where they talked about ghosts?
No.
Okay, so those blue silhouette, the blue and red silhouettes you're seeing, that means you're dead.
Yes.
But you don't stop playing. You're still playing, and you're doing moves, because if you save yourself from the death you just had happen in the next loop, all the actions you just did as a ghost happen.
Jeez, it sounds so good.
So the second you die, you can do things to plan for the next round, and if you save yourself later, then you'll actually do those things you did while you were dead.
This sounds radical, and I don't know if it's going to work.
It's insane. It sounds insane.
It sounds too cool to be true, is what it does.
Sounds nuts.
Brandon, right. Any thoughts on it? Well, I'm just trying to get you involved.
I'm out of my element, so I'm leaving the talk to you guys. For
did you like 12 minutes? Did you think that looked cool?
Yeah, cool. It did look cool.
Yeah. You'll play this one though, right? Because you love chess.
Probably not going to get this one.
Fair enough. I can't imagine how it plays.
Yeah.
Teardown.
This is This is first of all, it's a physics game, first of all, yes, but it's also a heist simulator where you plan your own heist. You have full range of the grid of where you're supposed to you pick up 3 checkpoints or whatever, and you plan out how you want to do it by destroying the environment. So you have the prepare mode where you destroy things and you make rails and you make the best way to steal this person's shit, and then you activate it and you run the course. And that is just, I am all about creative freedom in video games, and this is my shit. This looks so cool, and the physics behind it, you can break down a house and the house will fall, and all that shit's real. In terms of physics, it just looks like a good time, like a fun, cool idea.
Yeah.
Like games have been going on for so many years, and like, how do you do something like new and original? And I'm always surprised when I see something like this, where I'm like, oh yeah, you got a heist planning simulator.
No, I love it. I love a game where it just goes, can you plan the perfect route out of here?
Yeah.
And that's the game. And I'm like, that's pretty good.
Yeah,
it's funny because when I was watching the trailer, my first thought was, is this like a kind of a bit of a ripoff of Minecraft, or because you have that Minecraft style of very crude of like 8-bit art, and then in the second said you have to pull off the perfect heist, I'm like, oh,
I will say
goodbye all the thoughts I had previously in the last 5 seconds, because this is a whole new ball game.
It doesn't so much look like Minecraft, but I will say Minecraft, being the biggest game of all time now, it definitely influences more blocky style.
Yeah,
I would say, like, I play Minecraft. This doesn't look like Minecraft just because it's blocks. It doesn't, they don't look the same. But I understand what you mean. They definitely had the influence of like, hey man, people like blocks.
Yeah.
Sparks, what weren't Jeremy and Michael working on a Minecraft project that was going to be the same, a mirror building?
God, probably. At one point, sure.
I remember they showed us they were working on it together, and it was like this extravagant large tower, and then on the bottom the exact same thing but upside down.
I believe that was probably true.
Yeah. Override 2.
Okay.
Next.
How much familiarity do you guys have with Override 1?
None.
Not a damn thing.
Okay, so it's a mech game that came out a couple years ago. It's been received pretty well. This trailer, Override 2, really is just announcing that there is an Override 2 coming and introducing some new mechs for it. But I want to talk about the gameplay of how that original game worked, because I was looking into it, and what it is that this game, it allows you to do, you're just doing like these mech battles in the cities and everything, and the gameplay is apparently pretty good, but there is co-op capabilities. And there's more than just like, oh, hey, you can play with your buddy and you can have 2v2 of 2 mechs versus 2 mechs. You can also do 4-player team co-op where, let's say, Ryan's the legs, I'm the right arm, Ben's the left arm, and Brandon is the pilot. And that's Override.
It's Voltron, the fighting game, basically.
Oh, okay.
And now they're making
just like this podcast.
Yeah.
Just like this podcast, exactly.
So now they're making a sequel. That game literally this week became available on Xbox Gold, and because we have Game Pass, so I picked it up. I think Ryan will as well. So we'll check it out and let you know if it's something worth venturing into.
Max.
Chorus.
Corvus.
Do you guys, Ben specifically, do you remember the first time we saw a look at Chorus?
E3 last year. It looked
what were you doing? What were you doing? What were you eating?
No.
What were you wearing?
What I mean is, it's funny because like when it was coming out, we were talking about how around that time we were talking about how we really wanted a good
flight game
simulator, and now we've got Squadrons coming up, which might fill that bill.
Yeah.
But we got a little bit more look at the gameplay for this one.
Was Corvus from the Xbox One earlier this year?
Doesn't matter.
Frack, they're mending it together.
Pretty sure it was last year.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
But it could be last year.
It's a cool, like, futuristic fighting game, and I like those. I like playing those every once in a while. I just think the
face and blow stuff up.
Yes, yeah. This looks like a good flight. It cyberpunky type of game.
It looks like it has potential. I'd have to like play it to feel if it feels the way I want it to, and if it doesn't, then I'm out.
I like the narrative stuff that's got going on.
Yeah,
so I'm excited for
that. Struggling. Oh, I remember this one.
Ooh, I thought okay. So
more co-op.
No, I thought Little Nightmares was scary. This one just looks disturbing and gross to me.
Hell yeah. It's a cooperative adventure game where you play a science experiment, and one of your friends plays one arm and your other friend plays the other arm, and you have to cooperate and move around the environment. It looks really, really gross and fun. It's got some gross imagery, like some really gross, like
Katzenberg.
Cronenberg. Like body horror shit going on. Yeah, Cronenberg's a good choice. I love a good co-op game, and there seems to be a lot of them coming out around now. So I'm into this one because it looks gross.
I'm not about it.
It's fair.
I lost my phone.
You'll find it.
Do you want me to keep going?
No, spell break.
Spellbreak is another battle royale game, but this one looks so cool.
This is the anime kind of one, right?
Yes.
This looked awesome. This looked awesome.
This one looks like potentially, I want to see more gameplay, but it looks like potentially this would be the closest to like playing like anime, like a lot of anime fight. Like really getting that feel in, in like the generic like fast moving way. I'm really hoping that's true.
Yeah,
and also it looks like you can swap out your gauntlets, or you can pick 2 elements of magic gauntlets to go out and fight other people with. So I thought that was actually pretty intuitive. So you can have like fire spells and lightning spells and this and that. I'm like, oh, that's actually pretty sweet. Because at first because when I first saw Spellbreak, I'm like, oh, is this like a cool RPG adventure game? Oh no, it's multiplayer. That still looks pretty freaking cool.
Yeah, in the realm of Fortnite, I forgot to mention I played some Fortnite this week. That is currently like the most played game in the world, like next to Fall Guys. But Fortnite's been going on for years. Hey guys, that game's not bad. It's not bad. I understand why people like it. Also, all that Marvel shit, hella cool. But yeah, this looks like another, like, it wants to be like another Fortnite. It's a new battle royale, but it's all about magic and like fantasy shit. And there's not another one of those like it. And considering all of them are like, sci-fi shooter ones. So it's cool that we're getting a unique one.
Mm-hmm.
Quantum Error.
Yes. Error. Hey, it looks like a cool horror game.
Yeah.
Which one was this one?
This is the fire. This is the fireman checking in, and he sees the like zombie-like guys, and he's got to use the thermal scanner at one point.
There's zombies that you can't see. You got to use the thermal scanner.
Mm-hmm.
I think it looks all right. I think it needs some work to really like sell me on it. I'm not.
It's probably early.
Yeah. They said it was. I'm not 100% there on it.
The combat didn't have any weight to it. Like when they were shooting dudes, like the dude was not reacting whatsoever.
What I specifically told you is that like it looks all right. It's not reinventing the wheel.
Yeah.
So you kind of got to wait for it to get further along to get pumped.
The idea itself, though, of like there are like these zombie ghost things you can't see without using a scanner is a cool idea.
Yes.
They'll probably make it look better.
Yeah.
Gigabash.
Yeah, more kaiju.
Brandon, have you always wanted to play Smash but as kaiju?
I had that. It's Destroy All Monsters.
No. But I mean like in it, like really well, like Smash made, not
a good game.
Yeah.
Hey, don't knock Destroy All Monsters.
It's okay.
It's fine. That's a 2004 ass game.
It's like Power Stone, but with kaiju.
Yeah, this is pretty cool.
The kaiju don't evolve.
I do like this. I like the presentation of this a lot. I like the environments. I like that there's a lot of different hazards that can come up in the environments you have to work around. I think this could be a lot of fun to play.
This is also reminded me of the classic side-scroller Rampage.
Yeah, big monsters.
Wasn't that the movie with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson?
I saw that movie. The $1 billion making Rampage. Remember?
Billion yen.
The second I said it, I knew you guys were gonna say something about that. But
Ben, Just Die Already is the next game we're talking about.
Jesus.
Okay.
Just Die Already.
Bye, guys.
Is an old person mayhem sandbox game. It's made by the guy who made Goat Simulator, which is a hilariously fun sandbox game where you're just a goat wrecking shop in a city. You just play old people and you kill them and you get killed by them and you kill them and it's like, hey man, video games are funny. I don't know. Looks like a good Cyberpunk. It looks fun.
I missed this one. Son of a bitch.
It looks like it's a fun game. Don't think about it. Just play murder some old people. I don't know.
Just be old. Just be old and naked.
Yeah, old and naked.
Mm-hmm.
Star Wars Squadrons.
Yeah, I'm still very pumped about this. I wish we had been shown more. I like seeing Hera. It's nice.
Hera!
Yeah, that's
the first time Hera's been confirmed to be alive after Return of the Jedi.
Yes.
Good.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Love seeing her. I really just hope the game plays great because if the game plays great, I'm there. It doesn't matter. Nothing else matters at this point.
Yeah,
I'm there if the game plays well.
The little bit we did again because they didn't show as much as I really wanted.
Same. Yeah.
The little bit they showed, and again, it's the one thing that I really wanted in this game because if they wanted to make it like TIE Fighter and Rogue Squadron and all that stuff, you have to make the combat good. And it's where you're doing a flyby and you're able to stop and shoot and then continue to go. That's all I wanted, because like when you play Battlefront, like the combat is you're just going, right. You can't really stop and turn.
Yeah, you can't like hover
Yes.
or like Poe Dameron does when he's sitting outside of the, like, you can't do that in Battlefront 2, which is one of the problems I have with it, because you have to be in constant like control of where you're aiming.
And since this is a game that's all flying, if the flying isn't good, you got a problem. So at least it looks like the basic.
You can do that drift that Poe Dameron does too.
Yes, yeah, that's what I'm very excited about. That kind of stuff. The single player, I hope it's good. Like, I don't expect it to be to blow off my. Somebody did make a good point that's saying, I don't know how you're going to have any real stakes, because this is after the Empire's lost, right? So you're following the victors. So like, how are you supposed to follow the Empire and root for their ascendance again, or are you supposed to be the rebels and like they already won? So what's the point of following them? It's like the place they chose for the story is very interesting, and I'm curious if they have a good justification for it besides Hera.
Well, I mean, it's the justification is, hey, what will Disney let us do? Oh, explore just after Return of the Jedi? Cool.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because Battlefront 2.
It's possible these will be a lot, like the Empire stuff might be a lot of the devotees who will go on to like kind of form the First Order.
Yeah, that's what I'd hope.
All right, Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga.
Definitely coming this year. Definitely coming this year.
Had a gameplay trailer and revealed that it is coming next year in 2021.
I just lied to our audience?
Yep.
No.
I watched this whole thing a couple days ago. I got really excited when I saw that you could play as Yaddle.
Yep.
Yeah, they're gonna have
they sold on that. They're like, every character's in this. They told you without telling you. They're like, every character you'd want is here. No, really.
No, really. Yeah.
I remember, and it reminded me of doing our Mandalorian Fake Nerds Watch, and Ryan Sparks and I were talking about how the child is the third member of the species, and Ben said no, it's the second, and we were like, buddy, do you not know about Yaddle?
She's got the beautiful locks,
and that was your introduction to Yaddle.
Yep, and then I rewatched
put a wig on it.
Yep, then I rewatched Phantom Menace. I'm like, oh,
she's on the council. She's on the
council. She's there.
This is I'm optimistic about. I think that I think that Lego does a really good job of usually like playing the balance of tribute and humor, kind of making fun of the product at the same time. They're almost parody games, really.
Yeah,
that's what they are. Yeah. And I think they do a really good job of that. I'm looking forward to the lampooning of the Rise of Skywalker, and hopefully not so much lampooning of the Last Jedi.
I'm curious, because they've obviously released almost every game for the movies that are already out. Like, this is like, they've almost made all the games for the movies, right?
So this is the other thing, just based on this trailer, I think Brandon would agree with me. It looks like this is reinventing the wheel. It doesn't look like they pulled anything level-wise from the old games.
That's what I was worried
They're
about.
Completely new.
Yeah.
I will say, like, what gameplay we see, I'm like, none of this looks familiar.
Yeah, that's what I was worried about.
Character designs do, sure, but like none of the level work looks the same. So I don't think you're playing through the same games at all.
Yeah.
All right, TT Games, you sold me on Yaddle. Now tell me, can I play as Ghost Qui-Gon Jinn, Ghost Luke Skywalker, and Ghost Obi-Wan Kenobi? Because yes, please.
I'll definitely.
They had those in the old ones. I don't know why they wouldn't have them here.
Well, obviously Luke wasn't in the old ones, but
yes, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
They had the previous Ghosts before.
Much like Mortal Kombat Armageddon, I think every single character who's been in a Lego game is going to be in this game as a playable character. This is their Smash ultimate or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna get Duck Dodgers as the Green Lantern. We're gonna get no, I'm kidding.
I'm grateful that it feels like they're going to bring a lot of what they've learned in the newer Lego games since Star Wars to this.
Yeah.
I'm kind of hoping for, maybe you are as well, Brandon, something that feels a little more like the hub world existence between things as you're traveling through the story that Jurassic World and the Jurassic Park games brought to the table.
From what I heard, I don't know if they show it in the gameplay, but it is a minorly open world that you go to the different movies.
That's really what I want, because I thought the Jurassic Park game excelled at creating that environment where you are on Isla Nublar and you travel to the other island.
And you can go to Isla Sorna. Yeah, I agree with that one wholeheartedly. I would really like it if the traversal of different planets was better than the Force Awakens Lego game, because that was crap.
I'm sure it will be. I would take something that's a little more akin to the Clone Wars game.
Sure.
But it's I'm glad that this looks like they really did go back and just kind of like, we've learned a lot. Let's actually brick by brick remake everything.
No pun intended.
No, it was intended.
It was intended.
Lego Star Wars 1, the hub world was Dexter Jetster's cafe.
I talked to, yes, exactly. Yeah. I talked to Brandon about it, and the only thing that really bothers me about this game is that it doesn't look like they'll have multiplayer co-op available, which is something that I just wish no Lego game has up to this point, but I wish that this was the one that would. I wish that they'd start breaking into that mold. I don't think it's a big deal to be able to just get one friend on your multiplayer co-op with you, because we're all stuck at home now, and I'm like, man, I'd play this with Brandon.
That's so crazy.
Ratchet and Clank had a gameplay trailer, and that's the last one we're going to talk about.
Yep.
Yeah.
This was pretty much just an extension of the first trailer.
It was. It's an extension of the first one where we get to see now why everything is happening.
Mm-hmm.
And you get just like actual like uninterrupted
gameplay.
And yeah, man, like that definitely looks like a game that cannot be on a PS4. That is that reality warping stuff is awesome.
Yeah.
And like if that's a launch type of thing, I can only imagine like what the next couple of years for the PlayStation and Xbox is going to be.
Undeniably, like mechanically, this is the most impressive thing coming out of Gamescom.
Yeah.
I was watching this trailer, and Dr. Nefarious is revealed to be the villain.
Yeah.
I would love it if this wasn't actually a sequel to the remake, and it was just a sequel to Nexus, which is the final.
I would love that too. I think a lot of fans would love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're bringing back Nefarious as a robot. Anyway, yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I can't wait for Ratchet and Clank.
Heck yeah.
All right, Ben, I'm sure you're excited for this, but The Stand had a teaser trailer.
Oh, he's not listening to you right now.
Yeah, he can hear me. We just can't hear him.
Oh.
Yeah, I can't hear you. My light turned off. Hold on.
Well, no, Ben's not here to talk.
Oh, I know he loves The Stand.
He loves The Stand so much. Ben's such
I was going to say, aren't we not talking about Call of Duty? Because I remember Ryan texting us saying we had to watch the Call of Duty trailer.
Oh, yeah, Call of Duty. It had that.
Did you text us that? I didn't see that.
It's fine. Yeah, there's new Call of Duty. I don't really care about Call of Duty anymore, but I think Black Ops is the best of that franchise. Black Ops 1. It has like Ed Harris and Gary Oldman and Sam Worthington and like Ice Cube. It has like that's like the most star-studded dope of the franchise. And Black Ops 3 is still capitalizing that. And now they got Ronald Reagan or whatever. And like the tone of the trailer, I wanted you guys to watch it because the tone of the trailer was really gross compared to like what's going on right now and how like we're gonna wipe out this enemy and stuff.
I agree.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought it was super. This is why I didn't mind. I didn't see that you brought up that you wanted to add it.
Yeah.
I had no interest in I was like.
It's I wanted because Ronald Reagan's in this game. That's hilarious, and he's like the guy who's gonna save the world. Like read the room, Call of Duty. Yeah. But also, I just think it's still cool that like all of those characters from that first game from like 10 years ago, those are still all the characters in this game.
Sure.
And like it's just cool to see all those famous people still in this franchise. And I'm like, I play the Black Ops games, and that's it because I think those have the most interesting story.
The last one I played was Advanced Warfare.
That one was cool.
Kevin Spacey.
Oh yeah, that's still a good story though.
All right,
whatever.
So Ben, you tried to change the subject, buddy, but you're gonna have to tell us about how much you love The Stand.
We're in T talk now, trailer talk.
Ben, Stephen King, it's your best friend.
I know. I didn't watch it.
Is my hair changing shape on camera? What the hell's happening?
No,
I don't think so. It looks shapely to me. Do you not
look at it? It's a different shape.
Do you not stand the stand?
No, I forgot to watch this one when we were doing when I was doing trailers. I was too busy watching the game once.
Just like 30 seconds of a teaser. Come on.
I'm much more cooled on this this week, which is why I think it's pretty funny that this week they put out this teaser. I would have waited a little. But The Stand is 100% written and directed and produced by Josh Boone. Coming out of New Mutants, not smelling like a rose.
Yeah.
Which here's the thing that's put me like chiefly, and nothing in this trailer made me feel differently about it. Josh Boone, from everything I've heard, we obviously didn't go see New Mutants, but everything I understand, went for a horror vibe and missed hardcore.
Yeah.
On the horror aspects of what he was trying to achieve. That leaves me with very little confidence with him all over the work of this show, that this is going to deliver on what The Stand should be.
Yeah. I'm not familiar with Stan, but I know it's well regarded. And like, hey man, I like James Marsden a whole lot. So like, maybe I'll watch the first episode and see how it goes.
I'll certainly give it a chance, but I am severely cooled.
If this trailer would have came out a week ago, God,
I don't know how I would have felt. To be honest, like even just trying to be more into the realm of not considering all the Josh Boone stuff. There's nothing here that feels truly representative to me of what that story is in its horror aspects. I didn't feel like they were displaying enough.
Ben, would you
trailer? But like,
Ben, would you concur?
I don't know what they're talking about, so no, I had to fix my lights.
But it's the Stand.
I don't know.
Last week,
taking a stand against it, it's fine.
Last week, we forgot to bring this up, but the Death on the Nile trailer came out. It's the new Hercule Poirot film directed by Kenneth Branagh, just like Murder on the Orient Express. If I'm not mistaken, it's the first time that this has been a sequel to a Murder on the Orient Express adaptation.
It's the first time that the same Poirot has shown up in film as a sequel, but there have been shows that have adapted them as dramas and contained, and so kind of sequeled that.
There's a very long-running BBC series.
Yes.
Called Poirot. Yeah.
So
yes.
I haven't read any of these books, but like they're all basically like self-contained murder mysteries. But now they're trying.
But with the same detective.
Yeah, but now they're like maybe this is like an actual sequel.
So the thing is, the weird thing is, Death on the Nile in the book order takes place before Murder on the Orient Express.
My brain.
Oh, this is Jack Ryan. Hunt for Red October and Patriot Games are flipped in the movies instead of in the books.
Oh, my brain.
But yeah, that's what they're doing. Is that this takes place after Murder on the Orient Express.
Oh, okay.
Right. So it's Hercule Poirot, Kenneth Branagh, Gal Gadot, Armie Hammer. What?
Returning with his mustache.
Yep. It's got a great cast, just like Murder.
Mm-hmm. It does have a great cast. I hope that the cinematography might be a little better designed on this one. I recently went through a long thread of someone talking about Murder on the Orient Express, Branagh's version, and how his eye, like he was clearly more focused on creating the character Poirot and probably shouldn't have directed, because his eye of how to use frame of reference in the train was poor. Specifically, there's a lot of shots where like character reaction should be revealed, but instead we're like behind and above their shoulder or something, just because it's a better shot of where Poirot is rather than showing us the character that. So I was just like looking at that, and I'm like, man, that's a good point. I don't know, like I'm sold more on the cast and presentation of that film than I am on the actual like filmmaking of that film.
I didn't realize. I thought that movie, like I saw it, I thought it was fine.
Yeah,
it's not like that. I thought it was fine.
I liked it.
I didn't realize that movie made enough money to get a sequel.
Yep.
I didn't think people saw that movie. That's crazy.
Not only did it make enough money to get a sequel, but it made enough money for Disney to keep it going.
That's crazy. Good job, Branagh.
I like Branagh as Poirot. I hope he does get to make more. I think I agree that I would rather him not direct many more of these.
I feel like it would have been cool at this point to have seen someone else come in and direct it, and Branagh play Hercule Poirot. Maybe we'll get that in the future. It's undeniable, like the cast talent from the first one and from this one is incredible. That's gonna get me to go see it. I just I think we can aim higher than all right, like Ryan was saying, which is what I would say of Murder on the Orient Express. Is I like it, but I don't think it's like breaking any boundaries of what we can do with this kind of material.
Utopia had a new trailer this week. This is the new Amazon Prime TV series. John Cusack is in this one. Looks pretty good. Looks pretty good.
I told Ryan that the tone is all over the place, and I don't think it's in a bad way, but it is wild how much the tone is shifting around in this trailer.
Mm-hmm. I was like, for some reason, my mind went to Doom Patrol, where like it's like a serious situation, but everyone's like super silly about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very into this.
What it is that like sometimes we're focused on some characters, and I feel like they're living in a different context than the others.
Yeah.
Where the others are taking things in a lighter, a more humorous end, and then there's like really, really serious pandemic shit.
Yeah.
And I'm like okay.
Bad
yeah, exactly. And I'm like, these are two different types of products happening at the same time, and that's cool.
The premise is dope though. Like there's a comic called Utopia. and the things that are happening in the comic are coming to life, but it's like so obscure nobody knows about it except for this small group of people. So they have to like refine the comic or like get to each other to help save the world. And John Cusack's the bad guy who's going to make the world bad.
And Ray Wilson's the scientist who's going to help him.
Hell yeah. I'm into it. This looks super cool.
Yeah.
Raised by Wolves.
I don't even know what to say about this except I need to watch it.
Yeah, this again, like Ben, something was made like directly for you earlier. The Raised by Wolves is just like shove it into my veins, dude. Are you kidding me? Like nothing speaks more to me than a bunch of robots raising kids and questioning their humanity. That's just written by Ryan Leopoulos.
And Faith.
I really want to watch this show because one of the things I did, it wasn't part of the first trailer, but then they said you will raise these children to be atheists, and then they said, "Oh, make believe things destroy the planet," and then a bunch of God-fearing zealots show up to the planet. And then like, hey kids, don't tell them that we're androids. And they're like, Mom's not an android. She's totally an android. I just need you to say it for me. I was like, no, I'm not gonna tell you.
Warcraft's own. The main character Warcraft is in this.
Oh, is that the guy from Vikings?
Yeah, I was gonna say that's the guy from Vikings.
And Warcraft.
And Warcraft apparently. Cool.
Can't forget. Yeah, man. Like, there's a scene where the main android lady like gets some armor and just flies away, and that's from like
Where she goes Silver Surfer?
She goes Silver Surfer. I'm just like, I don't even know what's going on anymore.
Yeah. You and I are both like, wow.
This looks like it's got a huge budget. Like, it looks super cool. I am very, very excited for this.
Yeah. Enola Holmes.
This looks much better than I thought it would, hearing the concept on paper.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think it looks.
Millie Bobby Brown clearly has a passion for those books.
Yes.
There's a lot of deft humor here at play, and I appreciate it. It looks competently made. I'm interested in seeing it.
Mm-hmm.
I like Henry Cavill as Sherlock Holmes. Just putting it out there.
So I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna shit on the movie for this, but I have the impression that Henry Cavill is more there for
Cavill
for posterizing him in spotlight moments, but he's not really going to be a presence.
I figured, yeah, like I would almost be mad if he was in the movie a lot because like it's called Enola Holmes. Don't make it about Sherlock Holmes. We have literally 100 years of Sherlock Holmes shit.
Yeah, so I'm not expecting much from him.
And this is the Sherlock Holmes who cares about women, which is why the Doyle estate is very upset.
Yes.
How dare he?
It's interesting seeing what we know as the public domain Holmes, and then there's this Holmes is like, you're so I love you, you're my sister, and blah blah blah. Like she looks like he's a supportive role in her life, whereas Mycroft is not.
Yeah. The writer and director, they're two different people, but they both worked on like lots of really great stuff. So like this seems like a hit. Like I think it looks really charming. It looks like it's like breaking the fourth wall. Like she's always talking to you throughout the whole movie. That's like a nice, charming little thing.
I'm actually also really excited to see Helena Bonham Carter.
Yeah.
And then Dragon's Dogma.
Yeah, I
wanted to be more excited about this.
Yeah, I'm pretty anti this style of animation. I think half of the creatures look pretty good in this style, and I'm all for it. And I would say another half look pretty bad.
Yeah.
And I don't like when human beings are animated like this.
It's...
I think it works good for environments. It can work good for the right monsters, for the right creatures. But for people, looks like shit. I don't like it. Goblin Slayer is an anime I'm not a big fan of. The story's good, but the anime adaptation is not. There's a lot of this kind of animation in it. Not here for it. I don't like it. It's very thin. It's very fake. It's very
cheap is what it is. Yeah. This game is really great. This game came out like 8 years ago. It actually had a recent re-release, like remaster called Dark Arisen or whatever. But it's a third-person like monster slaying open world game. It's really fun. Like all the monsters, like there's a Cyclops and Dragon, so they got all the monster stuff. It's the story. The story's fine, so they can honestly do whatever they want with it. It just the animation doesn't really strike me. So like I'll wait for reviews.
And like sometimes it does.
Yeah.
Like there's like the Skull King guy.
Yeah.
I'm like, he looks great in this animation.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I love that. And then I see the main dude, and I'm like, no, but he doesn't look good.
And the difference
next to him, they clash. They don't work.
It feels like they want another Castlevania. So they have like the main guy, and then they have a female like sidekick. In the game, like you create your own character. And then all of your minions are these things called pawns, which are basically like people from another dimension that are just subservient to you. They're pawns. They're literally just player created pawns. So you can pick from one of thousands of different pawns.
Yeah.
So it looks like they're just picking one lady to be your pawn when you can have up to like 5. So it just looks like they're doing Castlevania, but not a good version of it. And I'm like, you have this. There's so much more to this you can do. So I'll wait and see. Unfortunately.
All right.
Did either of you have thoughts on that? We kind of dominated that one.
No, I agree. I wouldn't say I would say something if I didn't agree.
Cool.
Okay, so we're going to go into our review now. A review of a real movie, guys. Bill and Ted Face the Music. Full spoilers. I'm going to put it down here in our little bar. Full spoilers for Bill and Ted Face the Music, the 3rd film in the Bill and Ted trilogy.
You guys go ahead and get started.
Sparks hated it. That's why he left.
Yeah, I know. So let's go around the horn. Ben, what did you think?
Oh, it's fine. I
know you're bullshitting me.
No, I actually thought it was fine. I
Oh,
don't.
really?
Yeah, funny. There were parts of it that I really enjoyed that I loved. Did I offend him or something with him leaving?
Brandon left also.
Or is he just that shocked that I didn't absolutely love this movie?
I'm
just
shocked.
Because I'm pretty sure all 3 of us did.
I adored this movie.
I liked it a lot.
No, I still enjoy this movie. But I don't think it's better than 1 or 2.
I don't either.
I still enjoy this movie. I didn't rent it. I actually bought it, and I'm still glad I bought it. So I technically own the entire Bill and Ted trilogy, all the films. But when I was watching it, I don't know. We're gonna get into it, but I wasn't expecting much. But I still had a good time with it. I still had.
Okay, stop, Ryan.
I like this movie a whole lot. I don't know what you were expecting. I don't know what I was expecting, but I got everything I didn't know I wanted. Also, I had an idea of what the movie was going to be before it started, and even though I think we all could have guessed what the plot was, it still did that plot really well and really fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the daughters.
I will admit to openly weeping at the end of this movie.
It's okay. It's good.
Out of like excitement, like I just thought the ending was super exciting. I really like this movie. And I'm not saying like it's a great movie. I think 2 is still the better film in the trilogy, but damn, I had a good time.
I think
it was just such a good time.
I put it on Twitter. I was like, man, this was like the perfect movie for right now because it's like it's not problematic. It's just nice and wholesome. Like there's faint drama, but it's over. But it's like the love waves over.
It's less problematic than the first 2 films.
100%. And I'm so glad that they didn't even like try to make a joke about. They didn't try to like do an anti because the first 2 movies have some bad homophobia in it, and I'm glad
they say fag in both really sharply. It's not great.
The second one multiple times. I thought they were going to do something to be like anti that and do something that would have been like it didn't really mean they didn't mean it or do something. So they just completely avoided that fact altogether and just didn't have anything problematic or try to over complicate the plot to make it, hey, we're not bad people. We're not those old movies anymore. It didn't try to like over correct itself or anything. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
In this film, the beginning has them at a wedding reception where they talk about Missy, right?
Yeah.
Missy having married both their dads and now marrying Keanu Reeves' younger brother.
Yeah.
And the moment I realized they kept that gag going, I burst out laughing because I was like, "We're back, baby!"
Yeah.
When they when they opened it up, I was like, "Oh, thank God they found a way to keep it going." Because Bill and Ted 2 opens up with Missy marrying Ted's dad.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh, and then you see Bill's dad going, oh.
Almost like every type of reference that almost every reference that I would have wanted, I got in some way.
With Kid Cudi goes Station, I'm like, oh shit, they got Station in there, yay!
I don't know why he knows about Station.
Neither do I.
Because Station played the night they got famous.
Oh yeah, he did. He was the.
If you remember Bill and Ted 2, the band is Station, Death, their wives, and them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's just like there's no like I guess like
and backup dancers of their good robot versions created by Station.
The good robot us's.
I gotta say, Ben, I went to the bathroom and I found your assessment most bogus, my dude. It is a really good movie. I don't know why you're coming out with fine.
To me, it was the most perfect. It was one of the most perfect sequels I've ever seen. Because Death's in this, but he's in it for just the right amount. Because you're just like, you had to. I didn't need to see another whole movie of you.
Yeah,
but I was excited that you're there.
I love when he first shows up because they make him look really cool. Because he's just like in the throes of like falling in hell, and he's like,
and then he's playing hopscotch.
Yeah.
No, I also love how. One of the things I actually do really like about when Death does show up in this movie is that when Bill and Ted are at Death's door, like literally they're at Death's door.
Yeah.
Oh god, I just got that joke. God damn it. And and then he's like, "You put me on the bed." It's like, "You tried to take the name Wild Stallions, 45-minute bass solos, dude." I was like, "Oh, so that's what happened."
Real quickly, we should mention that the beginning of this movie quite quickly retcons the ending of 2.
Yeah.
Where at the ending of 2, they're playing concerts on Mars and they've united the world.
I want to be clear. It didn't retcon it. It just said they never made the song that unified everything. They were very famous. Those solo albums happened.
They played
all that shit.
They
happened.
played the Grand Canyon,
and then they got less famous because they weren't stellar anymore.
Right, but they didn't play on Mars.
Well, also,
I wouldn't say played on Mars.
Yeah, they also kept putting out albums, and then a bunch of critics were just panning the albums constantly.
Yeah.
Okay. So Bill and Ted have daughters.
Yes.
Billy. Basically them.
Billy and Thea. Yeah.
Samara Weaving was the only one I recognized because of Ready or Not.
Mm-hmm.
But the other, I found both those actresses to be very good.
Consider on Netflix, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Also, Hugo Weaving's relative, maybe. I'm just guessing.
I found both of those actors to be really good. I really enjoyed their performances as their daughters.
I agree. I'm going to be upfront. I don't think I have a con. I don't think I have one.
Because, this movie's not... This isn't like... I'm not being mean. Like, there's not a lot of depth to it, right? It's a really fun, like, 90-minute Bill and Ted going through some shenanigans. Yeah, like, it's not 3 hours long, so there's nothing you need to pick out. Besides some jokes I didn't think were funny. Like,
I also really like how their wives are totally on board with everything they're doing. Because when they see them again, it's like, oh, were you time traveling again? Because they're from the 1400s still.
Yeah.
That little
the whole therapy session is so good.
But
therapy scene where they say that
they're always the same. They're always different actresses every movie.
Yes.
They've had to be, but yeah, the therapist session when she's just like, I'd like to see you 2, maybe 3, 5 times a week.
It's like, wait, what do you mean? Or say, oh, the princesses, that's a word. And then she's like, no, we're actually, I was born in 1408. She's born in 1410. And he's like, and she's like, what?
So Wilhelmina, her name is Bridget Lundy Payne. She's non-binary. She goes by they, them. She's a cool lady. They are a cool lady. I'm bad at this.
It's okay.
When the Bill and Ted Comic-Con thing happened, all the people were there, and then she was like, they were like, hey, I'm a they, them, so thanks for that. And Kevin Smith's like, heck yeah, you're cool. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Wait, who did they play again?
Bill's daughter.
No, Ted's daughter.
Damn it, Ted's daughter.
Who is named after Bill.
Oh, God.
The black-haired one, right?
Black hair.
Okay. Gotcha.
So Ted's kid is named after Bill. Bill's kid is named after Ted.
Yes.
Yep.
Got it.
Therefore, Bill's kid is blonde, named after Ted.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I have no bad things to say. I can't. I don't even know where I would find one.
I love the dad's arc.
Yeah.
When he's finally in hell and he's just like,
and
he did go to hell.
He did go to this place, which stands to reason that everything else you said is true.
That part I liked. The one thing that wore out its welcome, I thought it was funny at first, but then I was just sick and tired of it the more it dragged on, was Dennis.
Oh, I can understand that. I liked him, but I can understand why he's near the end.
I can understand it. I don't find it anywhere outside the same kind of gag humor they were using in
the 2 others.
1 and 2. Therefore, it felt totally in place and didn't bother me.
I mean, like when he says,
I actually like Dennis.
No, I know, but he's talking specifically about him constantly saying, "I'm Dennis."
Yeah, like late.
I don't know. I liked it.
Like when Dennis first shows up, when he first shows up, and when he's trying to kill Bill and Ted, and then he gets his name. My name is Dennis. Is like, and then
when he's there in the far future, getting ready to kill Bill and Ted, and he realizes he can't do it anymore. I found to be so funny.
Okay, Dennis's best moment is definitely when he blasts them at the garage, and they're all going. He's like,
"Oh no!
Oh no! What I?
Oh no!"
Oh no! I was like, "This is the best robot ever."
So the future, the great leader in the future, thinks that George Carlin was wrong. That and in fact, it is
is his widow.
And it is the death of Bill and Ted that will unite the universe.
Just because they feel like they've tried everything else.
Yeah. And Kelly, who is Rufus's daughter, Kristen Shaw, she's there to make things right. Man.
What a good way to keep Rufus's legacy continuing, especially with that little nod with the phone booth.
I love that
hologram of when I first appeared to the Great Ones.
Yeah. The second he comes out, he goes, "Greetings, my excellent friends." It's like, Rufus. Yay.
Yeah. No, that's really great. I thought that was a wonderful way to pay tribute to George Carlin. I will tell you the closest thing I can possibly get to a con about this movie, and it's not, but like the closest I could get is like, I don't understand, or I lost the logic of why it was important that the wives took the phone booth from them.
Yeah.
That's the only one. Like why the old wives were going back in time and why that was relevant. I lost the logic of it. But that's okay. I don't really care.
Yeah, I feel like there might have been a scene cut or something. But like,
that's
I guess in the end, it doesn't really matter. Yeah. But yeah, I never thought about it until just now.
There's also kind of the things that if you want to really think about it, how does it make sense that if they unite the world on one day, their future selves wouldn't have already done it?
No. Okay, so this totally works because, as Ryan has pointed out, time travel rules in Bill and Ted are whatever's funniest. And a lot of it works because Bill and Ted has always relied on a logic of, oh, the keys are here because later we'll go put them here. Yeah. Nice. And that's it.
Or that part in Bill and Ted 1 where he's like, trash can. Remember the trash can. Yeah. Trash can, what are you? Boom.
And Bill and Ted 2 does it as well because that's how they ultimately out-fox the bad guy. They use that same thing, and it's like, dude, none of that stuff works unless you're the person who wins this outcome. Since you don't win, we get to outthink you. And that's it. So time travel logic doesn't mean shit in this universe. So I don't care about like what the future means for how it worked with them not having
this is an Umbrella Academy.
Yeah,
that's the thing. That's why I brought it up, because you're absolutely right. If you think about it too much, but you're not meant to, it's because it's supposed to just be funny.
And it is. It's just them constantly going in the future and Bill and Ted trying to like one up them and bust them and trick them, and they're like, "You guys screwed it up, so here's the way."
So the second time they go and they start talking in British accents, and I'm like, "Oh shit!" And then they open it. Dave Grohl, what are you doing in my house?
Yes,
that's so
the cameo appearances are super good where they happen. I really like, one of my favorite things about the time travel logic is it's like, how do we outsmart them? They're us. They'll remember everything, but we have to do something we wouldn't remember. And they put buckets on their head and fall out of the building. And it's like, I don't know. I'm confused.
Or so the B plot is that their daughters have gone in time to get them a band.
Yeah. Which
I found all this
in the movie.
I found all this to be delightful.
Yeah.
I love that their daughters have like a more well-versed dictionary of music and appreciation than them, and like Bill says, your acumen is so great. It's so good that they do that. I love the people they pick, that they go for Jimi Hendrix and Louis Armstrong and Mozart, and the way that guy who does Louis Armstrong does such a good Louis Armstrong.
He does. He really does.
One of my favorite things about the time travel logic of Bill and Ted is, much like the first film, when Billy the Kid shows up, they're just on board with it.
Right. Yeah.
And so I really just like, they had to convince Jimi Hendrix and Louis Armstrong, but Mozart was like, okay, I guess I'm going with you guys now.
He has a guitar battle against Jimi Hendrix, which is sick.
Yeah,
Awesome.
piano versus guitar.
Yeah.
That's a good bit.
That was the scene I was going to mention. It was the when Jimi Hendrix, you can hear Mozart outside, and Jimmy's like, I got this. And he starts playing the riff, and Mozart's like, the fuck? And they just do their own thing, and it's like, I love that. That's great. Even when Louis Armstrong plays his horn and convinces Jimi Hendrix that he's the real Louis Armstrong.
Jimmy's like around the corner, he's like, oh, word?
The Jimi Hendrix bit is actually a fun callback to the first film when they're like, we're not going to make it big until we get Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah.
Right.
Good job. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I thought that the selection of artists was really vibrant and cool. I'm glad that it covered a section across time, and Kid Cudi kind of got to be involved, sort of.
That's so, he's like the quantum genius of the world, and like, Kid Cudi's an awesome artist, and he's a really funny guy, and I'm like, that's of course he's in this movie. That's great.
He starts talking about quantum physics in a way that I could not understand it, and then both Billy and Thea knew what he was saying. I was like, good on him.
I understand quantum physics is insane.
I love Billy and Thea's moment when they do the song, and they can't compose music because obviously they don't know music theory, but they know exactly what it needs to sound like, and they're like walking through like, no, do it like this, and they're like doing what they want.
The best music reviewers.
I love two things about that. One, I love that it's their daughters who ultimately bring it all together. But two, I love that the answer to the question of how can Bill and Ted make music that unifies the entire universe is. It's not actually that they made the best song ever. It's just that everybody played it together.
Yeah.
That's the best answer to that question. Rather than saying, like, we're going to make the best song, it's like, nah, it's just that they all played at the same time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's so good.
Yeah.
I couldn't have thought of a better finale. And I really wondered as we were coming up to this movie, even without the other two, I wondered, because I knew what the concept was. I'm like, they have to play the music that unifies everything. How do you do that in a movie? Because you can't have a song that everybody agrees is absolutely the best song they've ever heard.
Yeah.
This was a great answer to that question.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it unites the world on multiple fronts and in humanity. And like that's a good way of doing it.
Yeah.
I just also love how their wives also get on handing instruments to everyone so they can play.
The infinite phone booths was one of the coolest things I've seen all year.
They're dialing the number, and then I forgot who it was. She's like, just push the
infinity symbol. Oh yeah.
All right. So what? I am so glad that both Alex Winter and Keanu Reeves, even though it's been 25 plus years since they originally played Bill and Ted, I feel like they still got it. I mean, their age does show a little bit, but the way that they talk to each other, I feel is like you are still Bill and Ted. I love it.
I want to point out, their physicality is a choice, not them being burdened by age. Because we've seen Keanu Reeves in John Wick. He doesn't fumble around like this.
I meant their voices.
No, I get you. I'm talking like they made physical choices to still move in a way that would be Bill and Ted. That isn't probably, at least on Keanu Reeves' side, how they move in like their age. Yeah. But they show their ageism in a way that's beyond but works.
So like Ben, I wasn't really worried about they haven't done this in 25 years. Keanu has. Keanu's been acting nonstop for 25 years. I have not seen an Alex Winters movie ever. That's not Bill and Ted. So I didn't know if he could do this again. That dude brings it hard. That dude is still so talented. He is still
every time he plays a parallel version of himself is really good.
All that future shit is so funny, man. I love it.
When they go to the old person's home and we see them on the bed, and then did you guys watch the end credit scene at the end?
Yes.
Okay, good, thank God. But
we still got it.
Oh, I was kind of nervous that they were gonna. I was like, please don't die right in front of me. But then they're like, nurse, and like, oh, okay, good. They just want to play.
It was funny. It was really cool that, it was Billy and Thea who ultimately like brought it all together to save the world, but that they were there playing guitar.
But they play the moment that's important. Yeah. They said where the moment hits, it's them playing. So they are involved. It is still them part of it, but like they're not the only thing that could have brought it together. And I mean, like you can go back and extrapolate that, like, obviously without Bill and Ted, there's no daughters who can do this. So like it's all part of the same thing. But I do like that the daughters were such a pivotal part. I like that the wives even got more to do than they ever had in the previous films.
Yeah. The talk at the old folks home between the two Bills and two Teds is so funny.
Yes,
and so sincere because like I never felt like I really knew you. Yeah,
I didn't want to let you know me.
Yeah,
I felt like every time I saw you, I saw myself.
God,
yeah,
that shit is like working on multiple levels, and I'm like, this is really good.
What did you guys figure out?
Another. What?
When did you guys figure out that it was the daughters who wrote the song and not Bill and Ted?
The moment the movie started.
I'll be honest, I was thinking it before the movie came out. Yeah.
Once I knew they were daughters.
The other moment I really like is when they're with their wives. You know, the whole thing is like they're scared that the wives are going to leave them because they can't see a future where they're happy together. And then the wives reveal. I really like the moment where they're about to do the infinite thems when they say, I love you. They finally, the first time in the franchise, I love you.
Yeah.
I really like that.
And then we know.
Yeah.
Going back to like the therapy session, but where Bill and Ted like break in, like, okay, so we're here to not make things worse. We're not making things worse, right? Okay, don't go hang out with your old versions of yourself, but maybe you're supposed to because time travel. Okay,
did we make it worse? Oh no, we made it worse.
We gotta go. And then they just look out the window and the old ladies were there. I'm just like, this is hilarious.
when George Washington, I think, pops into the therapist room, he's like, no,
running down the hall. Yeah.
So when Jesus comes back to the Last Supper and he's banging
the cowbell.
God,
I'm like, oh Lord,
They did a really good job with the fun little time displacements that were happening. That really helped fill out like the crisis of what's happening around them.
Like the
without it dominating. Yeah, the Sahara Desert just appeared in San Dimas. Queen Elizabeth is staring at it.
That's where we're at.
Yeah, I thought they did that really well without it feeling like it was overplayed throughout the film.
Yeah, and this movie this was a $25 million movie. This is a low budget movie, and it didn't need a budget. I think it looks great for the special effects and again practical effects.
This movie nets in an hour and a half and is super well paced.
Yeah,
and packed. I felt like it was longer, not in a bad way.
Yeah,
I was like, wow, that's only an hour and a half. I feel like we really covered a lot of ground. Well, like a good job.
Man, does this make Bill and Ted one of the better trilogies because all three movies are good?
100%.
Yeah,
crazy.
And Bill and Ted's also one of the franchises where the sequel, at least in 2's case, is better than the original. And I'm like, what a franchise.
It's so cool. Again, we always talk about like time and like only certain things can happen with time. And like Bill and Ted Get Old is only something that can happen 20 years after the first movie or second movie. And I'm like, it's cool that
and have their daughters.
And like all this can happen. And like it worked out and it was good because I know the creators have wanted to make a sequel for 20 years. And it's almost good that it took this long because now you have like the aged and the young.
But before this movie came out, I talked about how I hoped, like I wasn't concerned, but I just hoped that there wouldn't be a way where like they were stuck in being who they were that felt like it was forced and aged out.
Yeah.
And they rode that line really well where it's like, this is still Bill and Ted because they're good-natured dudes. This is how they are. Mm-hmm. But it never felt like it crossed the line to like them saying things a little too far out of the realm of like people their age being able to say it.
It took the reality of, these guys are like 50 and they're losers.
Yeah.
And like it did ride that line of like, wow, they're losers, but not make it like really sad.
Right.
It did ride that line.
Because they're always like good intentioned, well spirited, because those are who those guys are.
Yeah. Like the moment where Ted is Keanu.
Yeah.
Ted is, thank you. I never remember. Ted is like, they can give me 6,400 for the Les Paul. And Bill's like, does that mean, yeah, man, I think it means, yeah.
And then they mention later that it's like, and they don't like us because we're living out of a van. We are living out of a van, Bill.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a good movie. It's a good one.
Yeah, I had a damn good time with it. I can't wait till I can watch it again.
Yeah. I'm shocked. Like, I didn't expect it to be bad or anything, but like I
wasn't expecting it to be bad either. When I was done watching the movie, I was like, that was fun. That was nice. I feel like talking about what?
That was fine.
I had a good time. I mean, talking about with you guys more is like, oh yeah, this movie is pretty damn good.
Okay. Go ahead.
Last night, because I watched this last night. When I was done watching it, I was like, that was good. That was I was.
You know what happened when I finished watching it? I turned to my girlfriend and I said, "Are you crying too?"
I mean, I also love like the end credits montage of like just a bunch of people playing instruments. There's a blink and you miss a moment of the real San Dimas High School in there too, which I thought was pretty fun.
It's just so interesting to me that both Sparks and I came to this franchise very late, very recently, and we liked it more than you, who has loved this franchise for years.
I've been a Bill and Ted fan for a very long time. You guys know this. The show knows it. It's my shirt's this was my high school quote. I could pull out my yearbook and show it to you right now.
Please don't.
I'm not.
Yeah, there was a Weird Al cameo, right? You're right, Meg.
Where was the cameo? I didn't catch that.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
Also, Guillermo from Jimmy Kimmel was also in a shower.
I saw that cameo.
I saw that one. Where's the Weird Al one? Damn it. Oh well. I'll watch it again eventually.
Sorry, we're infinite us's right now.
Yeah. In case you were wondering, it's an infinite me.
Man, that Misty joke is so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the guy from SNL, I forget his name, like
Beck Bennett.
Beck Bennett, just making out hard with her. I'm just like, yeah, you commit. That's funny.
Don't call me that. That's what your dad called me. Oh, I'm well aware.
Okay, why don't we?
Was that the same actress from the very beginning? I really hope it.
Yes, that's the same as Mitzi.
All right, why don't we rate it? Ben, I'll start with you. What would you give it?
Solid 8.
Brian.
But before we get too far in rating, also just as much credit to Sadler as Death.
William Sadler.
Yeah, coming in as Death, also delivering very much the same spirited performance from 2.
Still funny as
did
ever.
just as good a job as Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter.
Do the bass solo from the beginning of that album.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, all that stuff with Death and like he's just. He went
very
solo.
It's very sincere. I think it's one of the most sincere moments is when the daughters are like building Death back up, and they have to like reunite the band. Is a really good moment.
I agree.
Yeah, and I did appreciate the robot for most of his humor, Dennis.
Yeah. All right, so we got 8. Ryan,
I would give it a hard 9.
Sparks,
I'm gonna go 10.
Woo!
I can't find a con. I can't find a con if I can't find a bad thing in the movie. If I fully enjoy it, I have to give it a 10. There's no problem with this movie. You wanted a Bill and Ted 3? This is the best possible Bill and Ted 3 I could ever think of.
You're right. You are right.
You have convinced me, sir. Because you're absolutely right. I enjoyed the hell out of this movie. I can't really think of anything I didn't like about this movie. I guess it's a perfect movie. 10.
I've done it. I could Brandon to a 10. I can ascend. Take me.
You hear that, Bill and Ted?
Anyway, so that's
excellent.
That's our most excellent review of Bill and Ted Face the Music. We're gonna go
see a nice, wholesome, fun movie.
But before we leave it too far, I'm really not trying to rag on you, Ben. Was there something that disappointed you about it?
No. I mean, the only thing I didn't like was the dragging on of Dennis and his name. Besides that, I thought it was fun.
You named him after my high school boyfriend?
Okay, that was funny.
Yeah. What I mean more specifically is there something you were expecting that you felt like you didn't get?
I don't know. I was just praying when we heard that Bill and Ted was for sure gonna happen. When Face the Music was for sure gonna happen, I was like, cool. But I still gotta keep a little not frack. What's the word for it? I just got cautious. I've got to be a little cautious about it because
I get it.
I love this. I love these films. I love the first one. I love the second one. And I grew up with them.
Love this one. Maybe upon a rewatch, you'll like it more.
Probably.
Yeah.
It's just when I wasn't expecting. I saw the Rotten Tomatoes score earlier. It was 80. I was like, okay, thank God. And then when I was watching, I was like, this is good. This is good. It's Bill and Ted. It's fun. It's a fun movie to watch. One of those things. Is like I don't know. I don't know exactly why I don't love this movie as much as you guys do. Which, don't get me wrong, I am so happy that you do.
No, I know.
You weren't saying you didn't.
No, I still really, really dig this movie. I will definitely recommend Bill and Ted, all 3 films, to people because they are most excellent.
I really was just curious if because you are so seeped into it, and when you're a passionate fan of something like that, there's usually if something doesn't live up to it, it's usually because there was something you were wanting from it. I was just wondering if you knew if there was something
I did
that you were wanting that you felt like wasn't delivered.
No, I just wanted a good Bill and Ted movie, and I did get one. So awesome.
Yeah.
Alrighty then. Book club time. It's book club time. Book club time.
And yes, man, be excellent to each other and party on, dudes.
All right, so it's book club. It's my turn this time. It's so weird when it's my turn because I never know how to intro myself.
Brandon, take it away.
Thank you, Ryan. I picked because of Matt Reeves. Actually, Matt Reeves at DC Fandom mentioned a Batman comic that he took inspiration from for this new The Batman movie that he's directing. He mentioned Batman Ego by Darwin Cook, which made me very happy because I love Darwin Cook.
Yeah,
but I never read Ego before, but I own it in this deluxe edition. Ego and Other Tales. So I picked Batman Ego. I didn't pick the other tales. You're good.
I was about to say, I only read Ego. I was like, well, yes.
I read a couple of the other tales, but we don't need to talk about them.
Yes. So I picked Batman Ego.
That is a big book.
Yeah,
wow.
Isn't it?
It's a big book.
Beautiful. This real quickly, this is Ego.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's about 70 pages.
Yes.
It's shorter than I expected. I guess I'm just so used to reading trades that are like 8 issues long. Like this was a fast read for me.
Sure.
And
Really quick reading too. I finished reading it in like 30 minutes. I was like, when I got done with it, I was like, wait, that's it?
And you read the other tales. And here's I knew it was going to be shorter, but I didn't want to be like, because of the way we do our book club reading. I didn't want to be like, okay, read Batman Ego, then Gotham Knights 23-24, and then blah, 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 and like keep listing all these one-shots that are in this book.
That's what I did, and you guys did it.
But, whatever. Batman Ego. So this is by Darwin Cook, one of my favorite writers. Written by and drawn by. What do we think about this one?
I really like it. I always like seeing Darwin Cook's work.
Yeah.
Whether it's just him doing his art or him writing and doing his art. This is a really nice. Do you know what year this was?
2000.
2000? That makes a lot of sense.
20 years ago.
Yeah. I really, really like the execution of this. I think it's really well handled. And I really like what it's tackling about Bruce and Batman. I think that there's been other pieces that have done the separation of Bruce kind of facing Batman, but I don't think they've ever nailed the poetic execution of Batman representing Bruce's fear.
Yeah.
And I think part of that is the writing, but I also think part of that is the fact that Batman looks kind of like a grotesque Oogie Boogie version of Batman in this.
I 100% thought of Oogie Boogie with like his shadow. And stuff.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can.
Yeah.
And that makes him feel like something that Bruce is supposed to be afraid of. Mm-hmm. Because usually when you get Bruce versus Batman stuff, Batman looks like Batman.
Yeah.
But this is like creepy, haunting Batman for Bruce, which I think makes it more powerful.
Like Hulk. Hulk.
It's Bruce's Babadook.
Well, no, I got Babadook vibes, absolutely, because there's moments where he's just like, with his extended fingers like this.
Yeah.
Or he's got his hands back.
He's meant to look like the boogeyman Batman, and I think that's very effective when it's Bruce looking at him that way.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Obviously, the artwork is amazing.
Yeah.
Ryan, what do you think of this one?
I think it's dope. Darwin Cook's awesome. It reminds me kind of like Batman animated series a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just also because Darwin Cook kind of has a little bit of that style. But I'm a big fan of this book. As the Batman we read last week, I'm all about introspective Batman shit. And this was right up my alley. It's not even a problem. I finished it. I'm like, oh.
It's over.
Like the opening with the city I've given myself to threatens to crush me with the weight of my commitment to her. That's right up my alley. That's my shit.
Okay, Spirit.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. Like him, like going through like the different villains, like what those villains represent, and like Two-Face and stuff. Like again, like all this issue takes place like in Batman's head, and that's
almost all.
I love that.
By the way, yeah.
I love that the idea is that Bruce Wayne is thinking about giving up being Batman, because like what's the point? And Batman's like, you can't, you just can't. So I propose we split time. You won't even know I exist.
I really want to spotlight, like, I did not expect the opening to be the catalyst that it was, which is do you know what I did? I killed my family because I couldn't let the Joker have his hands on them, and then shoots himself. And I'm like, this guy killed his wife and son and then himself.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dang, this is
and Batman's guilt.
way more effective than I thought it was going to be.
Not only that, but when Batman's trying to say like, "Oh, he's stopping in the middle of the bridge. This is where he must have stashed the money."
And then it takes.
And then he's about to jump, and Batman's like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah,
not on my watch.
Yeah,
and Batman's already injured from early in the night.
What a powerful opening catalyst for this.
The fact, one of the things I really liked about this book, and I feel like I like about like. So last week when Ryan had a bunch of his Batman books that we read, the ones I liked a lot were like Date Night and the ones that just dealt with Batman as a person.
Sure.
I feel like this is one of those books, I feel like quintessential Batman books that people should read. I mean, don't get me wrong. Definitely read the ones where he's a bombastic superhero, he's kicking ass and taking names, but where you really dive deep into Batman as a character. I like this a lot, and I like when stories deal with that a lot.
I want to showcase the dialogue that Sparks just mentioned with the catalyst of the story, where the guy says, "I couldn't bear the thought of my wife and daughter in the hands of that maniac, so I killed them myself. I'll see you in hell, you lunatic."
Yeah,
and just so cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I really. Go ahead.
Batman shows up. Did I do it?
Yeah.
I can't see it.
Yeah, he shows up on the back computer.
He shows up and it's there, but it's in the shadows of Bruce's shadow and everything too. Yeah. It's really good. I agree with Ben. I really like when it explores like the not only the duality of Bruce and Batman, but also the wear on Bruce that Batman is and having to make a choice. I know you got something you want to spotlight.
I like the because he's talking to the representation of Batman. And Batman's like, well, perhaps you prefer a more spiritual example, and it's like different types of Batman.
Yes.
It's like ancient cultures speak of simple tribesmen inhabited by the spirits of great warriors, or modern training and mental conditioning can turn a small town school teacher into a killing machine. And that's like different ways of splitting people's personalities.
Yes. And then when he
brings up Zorro.
Yes, yeah. Don Diego. Yeah, he says even your beloved Don Diego understood the most basic principle of anything worth fighting for. In war, there are casualties, as Zorro is wiping blood. And Darwin Cook does this so well because it's a series of sequences where the panels are splitting characters in half between what would be their Bruce Wayne and their Batman, their Don Diego and their Zorro, their ancient spirit and their soldier.
And then Thomas the healer
and Bruce the child.
Yeah, man. This is a
and Joker and Batman.
Joker and Batman, yeah. I just really like the design of the Batman figure skulking by the giant penny.
Yeah, I do too.
That's really funny.
Go ahead.
Oh, I wanted to showcase some of the art where he's talking with some of the dialogue here, because he's talking about how other villains come to be, and he says we must satisfy justice. We must kill the Joker.
Yes.
And this Batman is trying to be like, let me kill.
We have to kill him.
We have to kill him.
One of my favorite pieces is where he says we can't we can't do death and all this. And he says, I will show you blood, I will show you death, and he showers skulls down upon him, which are meant to represent all of the people that Batman doesn't save.
Yes.
That he is buried in. Feel its weight take you down. Bruce Wayne, humanitarian, you self-righteous hypocrite. You talk about the sanctity of human life while you lie buried under scores of human victims. That is some powerful, powerful stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And then later, Bruce is talking back to him, and he starts laughing at how crazy this is, talking to Batman, and Batman shoves him backwards and says, what do you think it'll be like when you turn back on me and ignore me now, and I promise you will live to regret it. And Batman has been thrown back into the costume containers, and there's a shredded Robin costume hanging over him as he says, you're going to regret it later if you don't listen to me, which is such good foreshadowing. That's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I enjoyed this book immensely.
Yeah.
And if it is a sign of things to come for the Batman.
Yeah. So I'm super interested in how any of this could work into that movie.
I can't imagine that it's Batman talking to you like
no, God, no.
But I would not be shocked if the plot of Batman tries to stop someone and he kills himself because he was too scared of a villain. and that could be a motivation.
And that there could be a lot in this movie of like an established what I would take away is I think Matt Reeves is wanting to establish Batman's role of no kill.
Yes, because he's still again, like, it's year 2. Like, we see in that trailer, he's super brutal. So like we don't know if he's at that stage yet where like he's fully said no to killing.
Right.
I'm not against that. Like, I type of idea, it just has to be done well.
Yeah, so, and I think this would be really good.
There's a moment where Batman says, "You're breaking my heart," which is drawn so sincerely.
Mm-hmm. So I think I know why. One of the reasons why I love stuff like this, it's because it deals with Batman on a smaller scale.
Sure.
Like, because I'm trying to think about the other Batman stories I absolutely love. Like, my favorite one, The Long Halloween and Batman Year One. Whereas it's Batman, but on a much smaller scale. He's not trying to save all of Gotham. Long Halloween example. He's trying to go after one killer. Year One, it's him establishing himself, just trying to help the city. He's not trying to. It's not like say Batman Endgame, Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo, where the Joker has the whole city under his thrall.
Yeah,
it's this big bombastic thing where Batman's just doing street level stuff. He's just trying to find a killer of someone who's killing all these crime lords. He's dealing, in this book specifically, he's dealing with his own ego.
Yes. Yes.
Right.
I, as you guys know, because with my last pick and then this pick, I like this a lot. Like, I like the very introspective Batman, but you bring up that Scott Snyder Endgame, and I still love that first issue where he has to fight Jokerized Flash, and he has a plan to fight Jokerized Flash, and the Flash is running at him so fast, and he has to say the words Red Rum or Red Run so fast to stop the Joker. And like, man, Batman fighting the Justice League is kind of cool sometimes.
It is.
Really great.
Yeah.
No, don't get me wrong. That stuff is cool. But the stuff for me that I think that makes Batman even a more interesting and unique character is stuff like this.
I agree.
One of the things I really enjoy about this book is that it's not about fighting a villain.
Yeah,
it is all introspective.
But it is about, do we kill the Joker?
Yes.
I do want to sort out a little section here, which is when he's being offered the essentially Harvey Dent Two-Face deal. And he says, you are truly ruthless. I should know. This is Bruce talking to Batman. It was my force of will that molded you in this image, but I channeled your fury towards a purpose. I tempered your wrath. Left unchecked, your vengeance would be monstrous. And it shows just like Joker horrified and bleeding.
Yeah.
And he says, no, the answer is no way. And then he says, then there's another option. And he gives him the gun, which is representative of the gun that killed his parents. And he tells him to kill him. He's like, think of it, a new life. You're free of fear, free of the horrible weight of responsibility. Free me. And this Batman looks so pleading as he leans down to Bruce. Free yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, Bruce says, I can't, it would be, and he flashes back to the guy who just shot himself earlier that night, committing suicide. And then he screams out, for God's sakes, is this my life? This is such a tortured Bruce facing this. Like, I have to carry the responsibility, but I cannot let you run free like this.
Is this what I have to look forward to? Yes, it is our destiny.
Yeah.
In Arkham Knight, I forget. Even if it's a hallucination, Batman, you're forced to kill the Joker in that game. There's a button sequence where I left it on the screen for 5 minutes, and it's just your hands around the Joker saying "Kill Joker," and it didn't give me a choice not to do that. So that's a Batman who kills. That's cool. Love you, Arkham Knight. That's great. This book is better than Arkham Knight.
That's not in question.
Yes.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed this quite a bit. I'm glad I picked this.
Yeah, me too. I was also curious to read it after Matt Reeves said that, so that's why I kind of laughed when Brandon picked it.
Yeah.
Nice call, though. I'm very curious how much. I'm glad that this is the kind of material Matt Reeves is thinking about going into the Batman, regardless of how much of this actually translates into the film. Just the fact that like what he's pulling from in his heart of the view of Batman is things like this. I'm like, you're in the right place, sir. This is Batman I want to see on screen. A Batman who constantly contemplates his actions, killing, all these things. Doesn't just run over people with a tank. Anyway,
Sparks, it's your book club next week. What do you got?
Well, guys,
don't pick Batman.
I really like Bill and Ted so much. I don't necessarily want to leave those righteous guys behind yet. So we're gonna read Bill and Ted Go to Hell. Boom Studios.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna pick the Bill and Ted's Most Triumphant Return. That's the only one I know. I didn't know there was another one.
There's a few.
Where does this place on the timeline?
I have no idea.
Oh, cool.
All the comics are after the movie.
Which one?
Both of them. 1, 2. Not the third one.
Oh, the second one.
Yeah. So Bill and Ted Go to Hell. It's a little 4-issue miniseries. So
all right, Sparks, you got some more homework to do if you want to read this. You got to watch the Bill and Ted animated series and the live action series.
No, I definitely do not have to watch the series because the writer has specifically talked about how he feels about the canon of comics and shows. And he says, the comics, I don't mind. I'll never read them and I don't consider them canon, but I don't mind. But he actively hates the shows because they wouldn't let him work on them.
Really?
Not canon.
The creator of Bill and Ted?
Yeah.
Interesting. Alex Winter and Keanu Reeves did the voices for the characters in the animated show. I thought that was cool. Anyway,
it is awesome.
Next week, Mulan.
It's happening.
Reviews are out.
Yeah, we already put a review out. We're done.
Yeah, so we'll just do that again, I guess. But yeah, Mulan is coming to Disney Plus next week. So we'll talk about that.
What I meant to say was early reviews are out. They say it is good.
Yes.
Good.
All right, guys, if you're watching this on our YouTube channel, thank you so much. Remember, there's a lot of cool stuff on this YouTube channel. There's the Fake Nerds Watch series. We just put out a new episode of Umbrella Academy Season 2. It's a recap of the entire second season. And the second episode of Lovecraft Country. Both those are up right now. Lovecraft Country, episode 1 is our most watched episode ever. So awesome.
It is for the most part. I think one of our Game of Thrones episodes might be higher, but that was like 2 years.
Yeah.
Audio-wise, it's still our first Mark Guggenheim interview.
Oh, hell yeah.
Max says, later, guys, and party on.
Be excellent.
Thanks for sticking around, Matt.
Okay. Oop, that was not what I meant to do. Goodbye. All right. And we also have Basement Arcade on here. You can check out our Avengers beta. We've got the single player and the multiplayer.
That game comes out in 2 days.
Do you guys want to tease your next Basement Arcade?
I hope you like The Dark Knight.
I was gonna say that vengeance.
All right. And our Fake Nerd Book Club series, which we have a couple of episodes up right now. It's our newest show. We have Wasted Space, Volume 1, 2, and 3, The Pride, Volume 1, and Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Volume 1, 2, and 3 is up this week. Correct, Sparks?
Power Rangers 2 and 3 should be up either probably tomorrow, but possibly Tuesday. But yeah, real soon.
Cool. And of course, check out our Patreon, our TeePublic if you want to support us financially. A lot of cool stuff on our TeePublic, a lot of cool shirts. Our Patreon has the 2 tiers. One's a really shit deal. Don't do that one. Save me the money. But you can check out all those links.
Start saying that.
I know, I forget. You can check out all those links in the description below. Our YouTube link for you audio listeners is in the description below. A lot of links in the description. Check them all out. We got the Old School Gamer Magazine article by Ben. We got our newest stuff that came out this week. And we got our, where you can find us and help us out. Or you could go to our website, www.fakenerdpodcast.com. All the links are there. Everything is there. Thank you to everyone who listens. Thank you to everyone who's been watching. We greatly appreciate it. Thank you to Jeremy Bellucci for our theme music and our interim bits. If you've been listening to this on the audio feed, then you've been hearing those. You can find him at Jeremy Bellucci Keyboards. Also, he does a podcast called Suburban Proctologist, where you can find it on iTunes. 9 episodes are out right now. Very funny comedy show. Facebook.com/Suburban Proctologist Official. Instagram @SubPodcast. Thank you to Mike Matola. Mike, you're awesome. We love you, buddy. We had a cool chat about James Cameron the other day. He did our logos for this show, for Book Club, for Miscellaneous, whenever that comes back. You can find that at Mike Matola.
Okay.
I'm almost done writing them, but I have no idea when the hell I want to record them.
Yeah.
All right. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all at Fake Nerd Podcast, fakenerdguys@gmail.com. If you'd like to get in touch with us personally, I'm at BT McClure on Instagram and Twitter. Ben?
You can find me trying to be excellent at BenMagnet27 on both Instagram, Twitter, and now Twitch. And also, like Brandon said, I write for oldschoolgamermagazine.com. My newest article about the Netflix documentary High Score is up right now. I also got a whole bunch of other stuff, so if you scroll down to that, click my name, all my articles are there. Go ahead, read them, tell me what you think about it, but there you go.
Sparks?
You can find me partying on, dudes, at Sparks Witty on Instagram and Twitter, SPARKZ Witty.
Ryan?
Hey guys, it's me. You can find me at DJ Tony Snark everywhere, all the time. That's me.
Subscribe to us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, TuneIn, Spotify, iHeartRadio. Like us on Facebook. Like us on what is this called? Like us on YouTube. Subscribe to this channel. Rate and review
when we go live.
Rate and review wherever you get us. We greatly appreciate it. Until next week, guys.
There's only one way to end this.
No. May I suggest that in honor of Chadwick Boseman?
Oh yeah.
We end with a Wakanda Forever.
I would love to.
Yeah.
Okay. Wakanda forever.
Wakanda forever, my friend.
Wakanda forever.
Wakanda forever.